right there. I know where I can't, but let's start with that. That's, of course, the biggest news right now in Kansas City is what the Royals did and what they didn't do as well. And so the Royals, when we were in the 1 o'clock hour yesterday, they traded Chris Bubich. It turns out that was really essentially the only other move that they made. There was a minor move after that. But the big moves, Lane Thomas, as we know, was sent to Atlanta. Chris Bubich was sent to the L.A. Dodgers. And the part that is very frustrating, other than the ongoing conversation about Walker and Lugo, we'll ask JJ Picollo, was it more about the offers not being right or that you deep down truly felt you had to retain both those players? We'll hear what he has to say about that. But the Royals didn't even get the benefit in a year that has been so bad where they might finish with the worst or one of the 3 worst records in baseball when this is all said and done.
Yeah, probably somewhere near there.
They didn't even get the benefit of, like, at least in a year like that, you would normally be in position to trade just about every expiring contract, just about every veteran. They couldn't, and I'm sure it was offers, because of offers. Starling Marte couldn't even get traded. I mean, they couldn't have any of these older vets perform well enough. Jonathan India wasn't healthy. Carlos Estevez wasn't healthy. So normally the one, I guess,
second Strom weren't good enough.
Yeah, the one saving grace at all, at least to give you some hope for the future in a horrific year would be like, well, at least we got a bunch of pieces maybe for the future. They couldn't even do that because of what you just said, either poor performance or injuries to the guys that you would have been able to flip.
And so they were stuck in a weird spot where they couldn't flip all the obvious names for what you mentioned, that. And they were clearly unwilling or did not receive offers in line with a willingness to trade away the difficult ones, which is Lugo, Walker, Michael Garcia. You know, like, and we'll ask JJ, like, if you got a call on those guys, or Vinny, or, you know, like, who else were they calling on? Were any of those deals fair? And now he has to do the job, and the team has to do the job, Q and JJ, convincing the fan base how you go from, let's just call it the 3rd worst record in baseball, to a playoff
on pace for 96 losses.
Yeah. To go from a 100-loss team to making the playoffs in a single year, unless the checkbook's getting opened magically. Because you and I pointed this out, and I know JJ will mention the injuries, and I'm not even saying the injuries have no bearing in the losing 96 games. But they still would have lost 90 or 88 or whatever the hell number you want to put on it. It still would have been a bad year. Whether the injuries happened or not, the season wasn't going the way it was supposed to. They never bounced back. The beginning part of the season buried them. Then the injuries double buried them, and they got stuck there. So how do you convince yourself this roster is still good enough, and you just played bad to start the season and then got hurt later in the year? Because, like, that feels like that is a hope and a prayer. Like, that's a tough sell, I guess, is what I would tell JJ Picollo. It's like, that's a difficult thing to go out and be like, no, just hear me out. You're like, that's a tough one to hear out on because it's a large majority of the same people. Or you're going to make difficult decisions in the offseason as it relates to trade. So I'm not surprised. Look, I think it's hard to be like, I love the Royals trade deadline. I don't know that there's a single soul that feels that way. Can you be neutral? That's probably the highest you can be. It's like, well, I whatever it. But, you know, like hate, there's lots of people on that camp.
I mean, I'm disappointed that they weren't able or willing, whatever the reason may be, to move some more pieces. Some of it, again, as we mentioned, due to injuries and otherwise. But then Walker and Lugo, I'm surprised one of them wasn't moved, I guess, is what I would say. Now, what the moves they did make, I actually think the Lane Thomas trade was a very good trade for the Royals.
Sure.
I
just meant the trade deadline
as
a whole.
Yeah. I think, you know, the moves they did make, though, you know, Chris Bubich getting something for him on an expiring contract for a guy that can't stay healthy. Why not, right? It's a reliever that might be with the Royals this weekend or this week.
That's a great move.
That might end up being, it's sad to say, might end up being one of their better bullpen arms moving forward. That's how bad it's been. So those moves I have no issue with. I think the disappointment is whether or not there were other moves to be made. We're going to ask him, was it offer-based or truly a reluctance to trade a couple of the pieces that were called upon? So, yeah, JJ Picollo is going to join us in about 20 minutes, I should say. I'm sorry, 25 minutes from now, and we'll talk to him about the trade deadline. Other than that, what did you make just of baseball? The trade deadline normally for baseball can be exciting, and we know the big splash was a few days earlier with Scooball. But seeing how some of these other teams navigate, you know, and in the Royals division, I know we're not standing watching anymore, but I thought, you know, the Adley-Rutschman trade was fascinating.
That was the only other big move, in my opinion. Like, there were plenty of good moves, baseball moves, but I'm not sure that there was Scooball and Rutschman, and then who was the other big move? Right? I mean, you know, fine.
I mean, Freddie Peralta, right? Didn't he get moved for the Mets?
That's fair. Maybe Freddie Peralta. That probably qualifies as a big one. So, like, outside of there, it's like I'm always surprised by the teams. Like, the Yankees never seem to make a big splash. right? How are you not in the mix?
And in Boston, despite their big push, they really kind of just stayed pat, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did Rutschman, but I mean, other than that, they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't move.
They didn't do anything else.
But
Well, that's a big move, though.
I guess some of it, and we'll ask JJ. Like in the end, he said he didn't think it was going to have an impact. Was it slower because of the possibility of a lack of a deadline? Because like for the same reason we could say that should make it easier for him to move Lugo and Waka. That might also be why the offers weren't as good. Gold. These GMs who are looking at this and be like, well, I think I'm getting a year and a half of Waka, but maybe I'm getting a year because I'm only getting half a year next year and a half a year this year, and I'm not sure what I'm getting out of that.
Yeah.
If I'm taking the chance on it.
And then a former Royal got moved back into the division, Foster Griffin. I was surprised the Nationals traded him. They also traded Luis Garcia Jr. So the Nationals, who were having, for them, their first season in a while where they were above 500, they move on from Luis Garcia Jr., who goes to the Yankees, who was now the number 3 hitter last night for the Yankees.
I know.
And then Foster Griffin is Guardian.
Well, I mean, look, in fairness, Foster Griffin's been really good this year. And that's not one of the ones that I really put on the Royals in the sense that he had to go a lot of places. That man was out of baseball. It wasn't just a Royals-related issue. Sometimes you got to just, get healthy, be in another spot, and get a fresh start. Every single player who leaves here and is better is not always on the team. For the same reason who every player who leaves the organization and comes to Kansas City and occasionally is better doesn't mean the other team constantly screwed it up. But I did, with Foster Griffin, it's like that run of Nolan Ash, Foster Griffin, and even in the trade yesterday with Chris Bubich, that 2018 draft class of hope of pitchers. Do you remember that group? Because he was a part of that. Brady Singer, Jackson Kowar, Daniel Lynch, Chris Bubich, Jonathan Bolin, all taken in the first 58 picks. One is left with the organization. He's in the bullpen, Gold. For all of the hype, and this is the part of prospects that I think JJ would probably caution people against when you start saying, just trade them for dudes. These were all highly thought of prospects.
Oh, no, they're lottery tickets, but I think, again, the argument would just be
your other things aren't working, so a lottery ticket's better than something else.
And again, goes back to just what's the real belief from fans versus the front office and what 2027 can actually be. We all want them to be competitive and make the playoffs next year. Is that realistic?
Is it possible?
Yeah.
They're going to say yes.
Well, of course. And
they're going to
that has to be their mindset, right? If you're JJ Picollo, if you're Matt Quatrero, you have to go into next season believing, in this offseason I should say, believing that you are going to make corrections to be a playoff team next year. They have to have that mindset. I don't know how realistic that is. That's all.
I mean, more than fair. I mean, genuinely, because what's weird is now my expectation for next season, certainly from a everyone's job security standpoint, is make the playoffs, but also
has to be.
That should be the expectation. I'm not going to predict them to make the playoffs next year.
Well, I've got to see what the offseason is.
How about this? It's unlikely.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That I will be thinking
Same.
of them as
right this second, how on earth could you?
Barring some sort of massive change in what takes place in the offseason signings, trades, whatever. At this moment, you can't be going into there being like, I bet it all just comes together and smooths itself out. It'd be hard to imagine that was the case. And so, it's tough. They're in a really weird spot. We'll talk to the Royals general manager, JJ Picollo, in just a few minutes, but they are in a really weird spot.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Let's pivot back to football a little bit as we're live here at training camp. Don't forget, our training camp coverage is presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. Don't forget, by the way, the video stream is also up and running today. Even though we're on location, Drew has the studio set up. So if that's how you normally watch or listen to the show, YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook, that is still up and running as well. Pivoting to the NFL, I was just thinking about quarterbacks, and because we were just the other day talking about some of the younger quarterbacks in the league, and we were joking off air yesterday that the Hall of Fame game is Thursday, and it's going to be Kenny Pickett, starting for the Panthers, not Bryce Young. And Bryce Young is one of these quarterbacks that fall into this category, which would be if you're 26 or 25 or under, I guess let's make it 26 for the sake of the conversation. That broadens it out. Quarterbacks that are 26 or under who you actually think could make a Super Bowl this year. What's an order of likelihood? I'm just curious where you guys would rank out your quarterbacks under 26 that you think. I'm not saying that you were predicting a Super Bowl appearance, but if you had to, in order of likelihood, what does the top 3, top 4 so quarterbacks look like for you under 26? Because for me, number 1 on the list, just because of what I saw last year and because of the talent around him, even though they're in a brutal division, it's not the guy that was already in a Super Bowl in Drake May. You might have thought I would have said that. Number 1 would be Caleb Williams for me on the likelihood list. Okay? Number 1 would be Williams. Number 2 for me would be Drake May. And number 3 would be Trevor Lawrence, followed by Bo Nix.
So I don't think in any way. Is Jaden Daniels under?
He is.
26?
26,
I
yep.
hate their roster. So I want to bring him up just because he is under the age and that it's a quarterback that if we had asked this question a year ago would have been number one.
I think so.
Because he was in the NFC title game and was the clear rookie of the year, and it felt like everything was going his way and turning up. But I hate their roster. I didn't like their roster going into last year. I think it's worse. Maybe they're paying attention to Stephon Diggs, so that would at least be an answer to it. I don't think it's Cam Ward. I don't think it's Jackson Dart. I don't think those rosters are good enough. So, like, when I start going down the list, it's not going to look a lot different than yours in the sense that Caleb Williams is definitely on it.
What's your order,
and probably number one.
Because Bo Nix would qualify, too.
How about
Caleb?
C.J. Stroud?
I think Caleb Williams one.
I can't get there with Stroud.
I think Caleb Williams 1, Drake May 2, and then I could be talked in C.J. Stroud over Bo Nix because I like the roster better. But this would be nothing about C.J. Stroud. It's just because of how good I think their defense is.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so again, I go Williams 1, Drake May 2, and then we mentioned the names. Jaden Daniels, if he was on my top 5, would have to be probably 5. He would honestly, because of the roster, be behind Bo Nix for the likelihood to win a Super Bowl this year.
I don't know. Like he'd be behind Bo Nix, and he'd be behind C.J. Stroud for me because his roster stinks.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think he's worse than those guys, but Drew, to like your point in some way in the C.J. Stroud or Bo Nix department, I am a firm believer that if you were a mediocre quarterback, you get like 1, maybe 2 chances at a Super Bowl in your first 10 years. And Bo Nix already blew his. He got hurt. His team missed.
Do you believe
his team
that with
won't be
Drake
as
May,
good.
who was
I don't
already
think,
in it?
I think Drake May is quite a bit better than Bo Nix.
Agreed.
So I think he is in a tier above where he might have a better chance at completing that than Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix's chance is gone. I think they'll be out before the divisional round. They'll be on the wild card or divisional round this year. They might make the playoffs. They might not. They'll be like between 9 and 11.
You don't think they're a playoff team?
They'll be between 9 and 11 wins. I think they're a good football team, but not a great one. They'll be between 9 and 11 wins.
Wow.
They'll either barely make the playoffs or kind of make it, and then they'll be out in the wild card of the divisional round. Is how I feel about Denver. So, like, they're just not on my list. Drake May's ahead of that. C.J. Stroud might be ahead of that just because of the defense.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I agree with you on the overall what we think Bo Nix is. But
Yeah.
And the Broncos, they won 14 a year ago. I don't think they're anywhere near that, but I think they're definitively a playoff team this year. That defense, to me, is too good. If Bo Nix is healthy, that defense is too good for them not to find a way to get to 10 wins.
Drew, where are you? Is that what your order would be? Do we all have Caleb Williams 1? I mean, that seems like a pretty safe.
Yeah. I would put Caleb there. I think Jaden Daniels is tough to say just based on the roster to what you guys have said. I would put C.J. Stroud at 2, and I think only because of the roster. I know that obviously he's been a shell of what he was when he first came into the league, but if he can recapture any of that form, and I think some of it while it was him personally getting over whatever he needed to get over mentally, as well as the offensive line struggles, if they shore up the offensive line enough this year, then I think he can be better, and I don't think he needs to be the guy he even was maybe in his rookie season for them to be a Super Bowl contender just because of how good that defense is. I mean, they just brought in Jadeveon Clowney or whatever it was, I think I saw. I mean, that defense is just loaded.
That's how they're trying to win.
Yeah, the defense is loaded.
They're trying to win every game 13-10. Jaden Daniels might have the worst offensive line in football and a mediocre defense, and a head coach is on the hot seat.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
No, but he's
tough,
talking about the Texans.
No, I know. I'm just
the
like
Clowney's
shifting
talking
gears
about the Texans.
back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Shifting gears over to him. I guess the only other person is like, do we want to entertain Jackson Dart? I guess some of that is probably how serious do you take that Malik Neighbors can be a 1 again? Can Cam Scatteraboo stop doing backflips? And has Harbaugh still got it?
I don't trust
If Harbaugh
Jackson
still
Dart
got
yet.
it, because we just talked about the defense on Denver and that the Giants' defensive line is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Like
No,
that
one of
group
the best
is
fronts in football.
That group is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
it's
same way the Texans can win. I'm not so sure the Giants can't just cause problems for people.
No, it's an impressive front. You know, I'm a believer in the Giants. They're last year I had Seattle winning their division as my dark horse. This year, the Giants. Not that I think they're going to the Super Bowl, but the Giants, to me, can win that division. It's wide open. I'm a little nervous about Malik Neighbors not looking like Malik Neighbors yet. But I won't put Dart in the top 5 for this because I don't think they're on that level yet. Someone says, what about Michael Penix? He's not going to even start week 1, so he can't. Like, be a starting quarterback. I mean, Tua would be their week 1 starter if he's healthy. So I can't.
And he's
can't
not
put
in
Michael
25
Penix.
anymore.
Can
The
I throw out
Falcons? Go ahead.
Can I throw out a name?
Are you going to say Bryce Young?
No.
Okay. Thank God.
Although I was thinking about it, but no. And this is, I think, some of what around the Texans-ish.
Okay.
But Cam Ward, I'm not saying he can win the whole thing, but I think he would be on my list potentially of top 5 or top 7 guys. Like, I think his name would be mentioned. They have Jeffrey Simmons. They brought in Jonathan Franklin Myers. They have Jermaine Johnson. The defense is loaded with talent. And then they bring in Carnell Tate. Wandale Robinson is solid. If Carnell Tate is that dude, then all of a sudden the roster actually isn't that bad. And then I think we all believe that Robert Saleh is a good head coach or a solid head coach at that. I think they could make some noise, maybe in the South. I don't know, to win the whole thing.
I was going to say, this conversation, I don't know.
Most improved player, I'd probably end up voting for.
I'm with you. Everything you said about the the Titans, I'm with you. I think they are going to be way better than they have been. I think they have
winning
a chance
Super Bowl,
to be
I don't know.
8 or 9. That's the issue. I can't put them there because there's still a lot of questions about Cam Ward. I think the roster definitely has improved. Maybe they push things in the South, and they're 3 weeks to go. We're talking about them having to win 2 of 3 to maybe get in as a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
They got 8 wins or something like that, and they win their next 2, they get to 10, and they're in kind of thing. I just can't imagine them getting, because even like if you want to say, oh well, what about Seattle? Nobody would have thought that. Seattle's roster still was way better than what the Titans roster is, even if we think the Titans roster has improved.
Now, we didn't know that going into the year, but Seattle ended up having one of the best rosters in football.
Sure, but even like I like the Carnell Tate pick, but we knew JSN was pretty damn good already.
Yeah,
like Carnell Tate still is an unproven player. You know, Tony Pollard's their running back. He's a guy that's going to get you 900 to 1,000 yards, but he's not a game breaker type of guy for you. So I am high on the Titans, just not for this particular, I guess, conversation of is he one of the 5 young quarterbacks that can win a Super Bowl this year?
How many of them are there even?
How many qualify under 26?
Yeah.
I'd have to go look.
There's a decent list.
Yeah,
so
I can give 10? You some. So like we've named
Williams,
most of
Penix, Dart, Lawrence.
Is Lawrence under 25?
Oh, Trevor Lawrence is still
26.
under?
Remember that we switched to 26.
We
switched to 26.
Okay.
So if you include Trevor Lawrence, then he's on the list. Then there's a lot of guys who just aren't starting, right? It's JJ McCarthy, if for some reason you think that they're going to put this whole thing together, maybe that guy, because there are some, Chase Daniels trying to talk people into, maybe he looks a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Or, Shedeur or Will Howard, somebody who comes, those guys aren't even starting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, unless you think the only guys that we haven't really at least brought up in the conversation would be, Shedeur.
Well, definitely not mentioning
there's no need to mention those guys.
Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, there's a reason why we haven't talked about
those guys. Yeah,
I know. I'm just talking.
No, you're right.
Drew did ask. In fairness,
is Tyler Shuck not even under 26? For God's sakes, man.
He was older. Remember that was the whole story about
27 in September.
No way. That's crazy.
He was older.
I made fun of this at the time. I think you're a bad franchise if you take somebody in the 3rd round that's over 27 years old. This is football. Football?
He really is Brandon.
You can't be taking 26-year-olds.
Well, that's a drop. Thank you very much. This is football. Football. That's going to be a drop.
You can't risk it. It's insane. Yeah. You would even take the chance at a quarterback of that age.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. It's not as bad as the Brandon Weeden one, but still bad.
All right, real quick, I got some troubling breaking news. I just saw this from Sunday Night Football's Twitter account. I'm a little concerned because it's one of the best intros that we have. It says a brand new version of the iconic Sunday Night Football theme is on its way. Now, Carrie Underwood is still involved. Oof.
I mean, how much different are they going to make?
Thank goodness. But for a 14th straight year, she's doing the Open, and they're going to have a brand new anthem. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't like this. I'm a little concerned.
Maybe it's just like a higher quality recording. You think you're going to change a bunch of the lyrics?
I think they are. I mean, the fact
they keep the same beat, wouldn't they?
They better. It's an iconic beat, and Carrie Underwood's great. I think this is a mistake. We'll see what happens here in a few. Are they going to? Will that be debuted on the first Sunday Night Football, or will they do that for the Thursday Hall of Fame game or the one of those preseason ones? I don't know.
The words I've been waiting all day for Sunday night have to be said.
I agree.
Have to be said.
They can't change that.
What's weird is we think about that, and it's just funny how quickly you can change an opinion, because the one before that would have been the Monday Night Football. That was the iconic one of probably our childhood. So I'd probably get used to the new one.
You talking about the Hank Williams Jr. Monday Night Football?
Yeah. I also, you and I talked about this, I know that I'm probably in the minority. I don't turn on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football until it's starting. So, sometimes I catch the intro. Sometimes it's right after kickoff. I don't turn it on.
The intro's on 2 minutes, 3 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah. So that one, but I don't always catch it. Mm-hmm. So it's about a 50-50 proposition for me, maybe. Also, do we have that in the garage sale? Was that the first year she did the intro?
14 years ago.
Because it was a 2013 poster or something that we had signed by her. So if it wasn't the first year, I guess it was the second.
Yeah.
So just outside of there in the garage sale. As a reminder, for this year's garage sale, we will have a helmet signed by anybody who joins us at the table for training camp. So it would be Jaden Hicks today. It's also been signed by Kingsley, Xavier Worthy,
Noel Williams.
And then we borrowed the helmet from downstairs. So Juju Smith-Schuster also signed it, even though he's not in camp. So to be signed by everybody who joins us at camp and Super Bowl champion Juju Smith-Schuster. So
that's right.
A bonus one for those who are curious. You're worried about it, huh? You're really worried about the intro?
I don't want them to change it, man. I love it. Sunday Night Football also is the best broadcast and everything, but the intro's perfect. It's just a perfect setup, and we've gotten used to it for a very long time. So we'll see. I'm less concerned finding out as I read the article more that she's still part of it. That would have been a massive shift. So. Yeah, we're good. And Thursday, I know you said you won't watch, but Thursday, even if it's background noise, I am excited to at least have football on the TV. We get the Hall of Fame game in a couple days.
Do you think the Sunday Night Football one's better or Round Ball Rock? That's what Twitch is asking.
Ooh. I'm more of an NFL guy, so I'll take the Sunday Night Football.
Drew, I'm surprised you said that over Round Ball Rock.
Yes, because I think Round Ball Rock's been overtaken, actually, by the Amazon Prime intro. It's so good. I can't get enough of it. Yes, it's so good.
I think the greatest of all time in my mind is the old Monday Night Football one.
The Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah, Hank Williams Jr. is the all-time intro for me.
Yeah, no, that is
it's a good one.
Possibly number one all time. Currently, though, it's not even close. Not even close. Who has the number one intro?
I think Round Ball Rock has been overtaken, Cody, by the Amazon Prime intro.
That is bold.
It's so good.
Really?
I can't get enough of it. It is. It actually is very, very good.
Man, I need to hear it again. Maybe I'm not listening.
You want me to come back from break with it?
Maybe. I need to hear it again because now you have me questioning myself.
Okay.
Well, no, don't come back from this break with it. Come back the 11 o'clock one. We don't want to have to make JJ.
Yeah, we can get JJ's thoughts. Anyways, thank you for that.
His might be Baseball Tonight. The old Baseball Tonight intro, which I also liked. I watched a lot of Baseball Tonight.
I think we found Gold Celebrity Crush. I mean, Carrie Underwood's high on the list for sure. Yeah, very high on the list.
I mean, is somebody not think she's attractive, I guess?
Oh, they were just saying. I don't know. Nobody on the text line saying she's not. I think they're just saying what we found out.
A little older than you, too,
How old is she?
I don't know. She's in her 40s.
She can't be that much older, right?
She's probably close to my age.
I think
43.
Okay.
43 years old.
Is she still making actual music?
I assume so, right?
I have no clue.
It says she's performing at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville in 2 weeks. I don't know if she's making I don't know when her last album was out or whatever.
She doesn't need to. She's got enough hits,
I couldn't tell you the last time she had an album or anything. Anyway, up next, guys, let's get back into some baseball. The trade deadline has passed, what the Royals did and didn't do, some of the thought process with that, and looking ahead to the offseason. We'll do that with the general manager of the Royals, JJ Picollo, next.
This is football.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Before the season even kicks off, everyone's making prediction. Who wins the division? Who makes the playoffs? Who's lifting the trophy? Over on Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can take those predictions to a live market. That's where you can do it because you're trading against peers in a live market over on Kalshi. Maybe you're thinking you want to take a chance on Kansas City. Maybe you're thinking you want to go with the favorite to do it. How about NFC winner? Let's stick on the other side of things. A $100 trade on the Rams would net you $380 in return if you just think, hey, the favorite's going to do it. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And with the probability changing, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, trade the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app and use TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get $500 in bonus credits when you trade 25. K-A-L-S-H-I, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize! Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
not yet. But both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hi, I'm Carter.
And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
And Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out.
Leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Meet Taylor Burks, the woke liberal play-acting Republican to run for Congress. Burks bankrolled and praised a never-Trumper, then attacked President Trump and his supporters. Burks' PAC even endorsed a Democrat who backed Hillary Clinton for president. Never Trump money, Democrat endorsement, liberal applause. And while serving on the board of Truman State University, Taylor Burks oversaw the school's transition into a cesspool of woke garbage. Under his watch, a performance of the vulgar vagina monologues, mocking conservative values, and a pride exchange closet, providing new clothes after sex changes, the go-to boutique for trans students looking for a wardrobe tailored to them. Woke Taylor Burks, a bad fit for Missouri. The two-faced liberal phony we can't trust. Win It Backpack is responsible for the content of this ad. Paid for by Win It Backpack. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. WinItBackpack.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When it's time for a new water heater, trust the team that's been serving Kansas City for 75 years. For a limited time, buy a water heater and get a water filter 50% off. Schedule today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, we're back here in St. Joe. Chiefs training camp practice taking place right in front of us here at Mo West. Reminder, after practice in the 11 o'clock hour today, not only will we hear from Kenneth Walker at the podium, but we will be joined exclusively by Jaden Hicks right here inside our broadcast location. Looking forward to that, and don't forget our training camp coverage is presented by Yuengling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yuengling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Let's get right back into the Royals, though, and of course the trade deadline yesterday has come and gone. We know the moves the Royals did make. We know some of the moves the Royals did not make. To talk more about that and looking ahead to the rest of the season and into the offseason a little bit, we welcome in the general manager of the Kansas City Royals, JJ Picollo, on the Golden Oak Lending phone line. JJ, good to have you with us here on a Tuesday, and I'm sure there are always deals you wish you could have maybe made, maybe you didn't feel you were able to get a deal done that you thought you could. What would you make of just overall how the trade deadline went? Were you guys able to accomplish, I guess, what you feel like you needed to do?
For the Royals, knowing that you guys took maybe 5 or 6 guys in the top 68 for a while, or top 50 picks, I think is maybe what it was. Do you look back there and try to figure out how you guys should have gotten more value out of that? I guess just from like a future perspective or those things.
Well, I think if you go back and carefully look at what happened in that draft, it was actually one of the more successful drafts in all of baseball. So, and that's just going by WAR. If you just want to use a simple number, going by WAR. So, do you want them all to be all-stars? Sure, we do. Of course we do. But realistically, are they all going to be all-stars? Brady Singer's had a nice career. Chris Bubich has had a nice career. There were John Boland's doing a great job over in Philadelphia right now. You got Daniel Lynch here. You go through the whole list. It had its successes, and those guys are still playing. There's a lot of drafts where guys are, either playing in the minor leagues or not playing at all. So, we were happy with that draft. I think, the excitement of it was we thought we would have, I think publicly you're hoping that you'd have 5 starters and, they're all elite guys. But the reality is you just want very good pitchers in the major leagues. And these guys have had successes. And Chris Bubich, he played a key role in the bullpen for us in 24, and he was all-star in 25. And then after that, the injuries start. So, that draft, it is what it is. I know that there's been a lot made of that, but in the end, if you really took the time to go back and look at that draft compared to the other 29 clubs, I think you'll find that it was a pretty favorable draft.
Is Bubich or Lane Thomas guys you'd talk to about coming back?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have those discussions right now, but we like their talent, so there's no doubt that when we go and get into the free agency season, they're going to be guys that we talk about. We know them very well. We know what their makeup's like. We know what their impact is in the clubhouse. So, yeah, they're guys that would be on the list, but we haven't quite got to that part just yet.
Fair enough.
We're talking to JJ Picollo, Royals General Manager, President of Baseball Ops here on 96.5 The Fan. You mentioned the return earlier for some of the trades that you guys did make. Duran and Hoffman, it feels like if anybody could potentially be in Kansas City this week, it'd be those guys. What's the plan for both of them perhaps to help you guys out already?
Yeah, so both guys are on their way to Omaha right now, and we're just going to let them get their feet wet in this organization and then really just kind of play it by ear. There's no definitive date. We'll get them up by this date or that date. They're on option. They're available to us to call up. So as the dust settles and we think about some things and how we have to get through, I mean, right now we're, with Lunar Avila being on the IL, we're thinking about Friday, which would be his start day. So there's other factors that impact, even the relievers to figure out how we're going to go about it. But at least right now, we just want them to go to Omaha, get their feet wet, get acclimated to the organization. We learn a little bit more about them. We know what their talent's like, but then also just seeing it and watching those guys throw in AAA is the first step.
What do you guys look as being the biggest evaluation point for you guys the rest of the way? What do you want to see out of certain groups or certain situations? Are you trying to find late inning relievers? How do you, view the rest of the year?
Yeah, well, again, the bullpen is the big one. We're going to have to revamp our bullpen next year. And, guys are going to get opportunities now. We're going to figure out if they're part of our plan moving forward or not. And that's a good thing. You don't want to have the injuries and be in the situation we're in, but very similar to what Nick Lofton and Michael Massey have done. They've taken advantage of an injury. They've gotten more playing time, and they've shown us that they're a part of our future, and that's great. So I would say the bullpen is probably the biggest thing. You'll probably see more movement, guys coming up and down and, trying to figure out, who do we have and how do we put a bullpen together for next season. And then, keep making sure we try to do our best to keep our starters. You want to keep them well rested somehow. You don't want to push them to the limits to the point that you could have a problem with them as well. So, but we know, between Waka, Lugo, Cameron, we feel good about them. Dobnak's been very, very good for us. So that part is somewhat settled. And then it's the bullpen is the biggest thing. And then the other thing is, getting Vinny and Garcia and Bobby back. That's we've been playing without them for quite some time now, and it'd just be nice to see them back on the field.
JJ Picollo, Royals General Manager, President of Baseball Ops. He joins us every couple weeks here on Cody and Gold. Appreciate it, JJ, and we'll check in here down the road.
All right, guys. Thank you.
There you go. That's JJ Picollo out on the Golden Oak Lending phone line. A lot there about the deadline and what they're looking for the rest of the way. I will say you asked him as well about, the injuries. Yes, a role in this year, no doubt about that. But the early portion of the season, as he acknowledged in April, they played poorly before some of the injuries would go. And I
looked back at their record before the Cole Reagans trade, or the Cole Reagans injury.
The injuries are a real thing. However, I said this, I think, a month or 2 months ago.
You don't want them to be
I
excuse.
am not going to all offseason talk about this year was because of the injuries. That's to me, is not the story of the 2026 Kansas City Royals.
I think the problem was, if they were healthy, they were still a 75-win team, not an 85-win team, not an 89-win team. So they were still... I think the story, you want to know what the story of the season was? Injuries were the reason why they're going to have 95 losses, not 90 losses or 88 or whatever.
Their core guys did not perform.
The reason why it didn't happen this year is the core guys didn't perform or were hurt, right? But Vinny was bad in April.
Salvador Perez has been horrendous other than the last month.
But I genuinely think the story of the season for me is they had the worst bullpen in baseball and one of the worst bullpens in Royals history. And no amount of and at least he's acknowledging that that's a group that they have to completely change. Because the truth is, of all the groups that you can talk yourself into, maybe we'll just get healthy in the starting pitching staff and we still like our core of young players. Because I don't think it's crazy to say Vinny, Michael Garcia. I actually don't hate their core position players. I like them. I actually do. I agree with JJ that that's a group that you can win with. But the bullpen was the worst in the sport. And so, that's the group that you have to do something dramatically different on. Practice, by the way, is getting close to wrapping up. We hope to hear from Jaden Hicks soon. They're currently working in special teams punts right now, it looks like.
Yep, and our training camp coverage here is presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. Yeah, not only Jaden Hicks will join us, but we're going to hear from Kenneth Walker and Joe Blameyer, who is a name that I'm sure if you're listening, is not a name anybody's probably really heard of as far as speak.
Right now.
Often, but it matters now because as of right this second, he would be the acting offensive coordinator if they had to play a game this weekend. Now we all hope, Eric Bieniemy at some point, whenever that time is right,
no rush,
that he's able to come back. We have no idea on the timeline. I think Andy gave an update yesterday on at least his wife, and that she continues to progress in the right direction after the terrible events of, a week or so ago, I guess it's been at this point in time. But as far as camp observation for today, and then we'll get to a little Camp Darling Island next hour or here in a little bit, but Khalil Benson, we've said it multiple days now. I know I feel like we're having the same conversation, but it's another day
might have to
where
get invited onto the island.
It's another day where he started. Now, Jalen Moore's still getting first-team reps, but Khalil Benson getting the first crack at first team again at right tackle.
If we add Khalil Benson, we have to eliminate 2 later on in the week because we won't normally have an elimination. Currently we have 8 players remaining and 10 training camps remaining. We sometimes try to get this thing squared away right after the first preseason game. So as far as I'm concerned, right now, we don't have to do an elimination every day, but we're starting to get pretty close to it, which means if we add Khalil Benson, we have to do a double elimination, which, by the way,
that's fun.
This stage of the game, it ain't that hard to eliminate. There's more than a few guys on the list right now that we're not going to have any trouble. Ashton Gelati hasn't practiced in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that one's
Xavier
just tricky.
Lloyd
It
hasn't
feels
shown up. Jalen Royals hasn't shown up.
It feels weird to eliminate Gelati because we all think he's going to end up being an impactful player this year. But yeah,
from Camp Darling Island,
should never have been on the island.
He was too old for it anyway.
I want to
make a trade
normally on The
because
Bachelor they say
Drew
make a trade.
Drew wants to trade. I don't think that's allowed.
Who do you want?
I want Bassa.
I mean,
not Benson.
No.
I mean, we wouldn't give him Benson. Benson's just
he might win the whole thing.
He belongs to the group.
I mean, if Benson wins the starting right tackle job, which I still am not convinced he will, and I'll gladly be wrong on it, but
I think he wins.
He would win Camp Darling Island.
Maybe position player. If Cyrus
he wins the starting right tackle job as an undrafted guy, he wins. He wins Camp Darling.
Yes.
If that happens,
I think to be a Camp Darling, you got to be somebody everyone's talking about.
People are talking about Benson now because he's continues to be out there with the ones. He's an undrafted dude that had no invites from anybody else.
It's crazy.
It's a great story.
Oh, it's a great story. And it'd be 4 cheap years of a starting right tackle, which I'd be all for. But,
I mean, him also winning the job, though, could show, depending on how it goes, because he might win the job, but still, compared to others, not be that great. Where it's they need to draft one.
Last year's free agent signings for the Chiefs, not great. Christian Fulton doesn't have a helmet on to get a day, barely can get on the field, and Jalen Moore might lose his job to an undrafted free agent rookie with no invites.
And the other story continues to be Mansour Delane. And yellow non-contact jersey, we've talked to Nate Taylor about him over and over. I saw Jeremy Fowler, one of his colleagues at ESPN, put out his camp notebooks today. Here's what Fowler said about Delane.
Oh, this is going to be concerning.
I'll just read you the little paragraph. First-round rookie corner Mansour Delane practicing in a yellow non-contact jersey because imaging on his shoulder injury at the start of camp showed a little bit of healing was still needed. Again, we don't know what the original injury was, but he's running all of his reps, but at least there's a slight chance it could change once pads come on. That hasn't changed so far. The Chiefs don't want him tackling until they see the injury fully cleared up. He'll have more tests in a couple weeks to find out whether it is. Well, that tells us, Cody, he's not playing in preseason.
No. I told you I don't think
he's not playing in preseason. And if Fowler's information,
I told you he wasn't going to be at camp.
If Fowler's information is correct, and no reason to believe it's not, that they'll have more tests in a couple weeks to find out if it's okay. They don't want him tackling yet. Well, then, yeah, he can't play in preseason. This is going to be something we're discussing all the way up until week 1.
He will be in the yellow jersey for all of camp, and then we will find out whether or not he's available. He is. I think it is more than fair to say, even though it's only August 4th, he is officially a question mark for week 1. I don't know that he will or won't be available, but he's a question mark because we're going to get all the way through August 19th. And the man's not going to be out of the yellow non-contact jersey. So, that's really kind of all you need to know, I guess, at least from that version of comfort, in that, man's not available. And what's crazy, and this is the Chiefs with injuries. This is not surprising. He hurt it in a closed practice.
Yep.
They said he didn't need surgery, and they've said jack about it since. So it's a mystery injury, too.
All we know is it's a shoulder injury.
But it's clearly way more serious than they ever let.
Of course.
Way more serious than they ever pretended.
Yes, because it's been a couple months now. It's been a couple months, and it's going to be another month, it sounds like, or at least a couple weeks till they get more testing. Hopefully the imaging in a few weeks is good. If it's not, then we're talking about it being even into the season more.
Based on the length of this, I think he separated it. I think he separated his shoulder, and typically if a player does that in season, it's like 4 to 8 weeks before they, tackle it or normal again. I think he might have separated it. It's been 2 months. And then now they're taking it easy on this thing? He obviously injured it more than he just sprained his shoulder.
Yeah, it was not a sprained shoulder. There's no way it was a sprained shoulder.
And now we got to talk about, is this going to delay how good he is at the beginning of the season? And he needed to start the season as the team's number 1 cornerback. And so, that part.
No, it's a more than fair question to ask and to continue to acknowledge that week 1 is very much in doubt for Mansour Delane. Even though we're a month from the 5 weeks from the season, based on that reporting from Fowler, we're at least 2 weeks away before they even recheck it. So and see if it's healing again properly.
I don't know if it was Nate, but I think they said the starting corners today are Noah Williams and Melvin Smith, who are running with the ones today because you guys said Fulton can't go.
Fulton's not even.
This is also why
they should cut Fulton. They save money.
But see, this is why this is my argument to keep Fulton. Though with this Delane uncertainty, I actually, as much as they didn't play him last year, I need to keep it. Yeah, but at some point though, I need to have somebody with some ability to play some NFL snaps.
Yeah, I might need to cut Fulton, get money, and then sign somebody.
Who are you signing that's better than Fulton? Who are you signing that's better than Fulton?
I mean,
don't say anybody, please. I hate that.
I'm not going to say. I will say anybody, depending on the circumstance. In this case, I won't. Let's see. Free agent corners. Hold on, please. I don't want believe it or not.
Trayvon Diggs is the best corner available according to ESPN.
Is he healthy? Yeah. He also got some injury problems. Anybody that's still out there has some questions. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah, but no more than the guy that they actively have in
They're
their
paying
roster.
Fulton too much money to just go ahead and I think and eat it. They'd have to try to find a trade partner, and I think you're better off just keeping me at this point with the Mansour Delane question mark. Injury-wise, I don't think you can move on. In a perfect world, Delane was healthy, looked great. You felt good about Noah Williams. You felt good about even Snead's knee and all that. Then maybe you'd be talking about trying to flip Fulton to get some money and free up some cap space. I don't think you can afford to do that right now because of the Delane injury.
I think Snead also is not the answer. Well, just put in L'Jarius Snead.
I tend to agree.
I'll tell you right now.
Tend to agree.
Please no.
Drew, I'll tell you right now. That is going to be their answer. So you guys cannot like it, but I think we should also I want you to accept now that Mike Edwards played 10 games last year.
No, I think you're right.
And that their solution to this will be L'Jarius Snead, whether we like it or not.
This is who the Chiefs are, yes.
That is their planned solution.
All right, coming up next, we expect to hear from Jaden Hicks in the 11 o'clock hour, although practice is still going on, so it could be another 15-plus minutes till that. We also got to get to Camp Darling Island. In fact, let's do that next. Who's getting eliminated today? We'll also work in a little trash of the day as we continue broadcasting live from St. Joe.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30. Cody and Gold is brought to you
So Jaden Hicks is going to join us exclusively here on 96.5 The Fan. He'll be our guest today, so that's coming up in a bit. Also want to get to Camp Darling Island, but full disclosure, peel back the curtain. I don't want to get to it, and then we have to cut out of it too early because we got a long discussion today.
Yeah, we do have a long discussion
about Camp Darling Island. Who to vote off? Are we going to vote someone in? We got to work out this. Drew wants to make trades. We got a lot of different scenarios going on for Camp Darling Island.
We need time.
We do need some time. Nate Taylor is going to join us after practice today as well. You guys can always interact. We still have the text line up, even though we're on remote. You can text in 913-586-7965. And don't forget, training camp coverage is presented by Break Time. Whether you're fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way up here to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you.
Text line would still like Drew to play my quarterback cadence for somebody on defense. Do you want to play it for Jaden Hicks today?
Let's I'll make it. Let's play for Hicks. We haven't done.
Can
I don't want to do it for
up, Drew?
Yeah, we didn't want to do it for every player. It would get old, but we haven't done it yet. So today's a good day. He's a defensive player too, so I think it makes more
sense. Hold on a second. There's three in here. There's one. There's the second one, and
Ridiculous.
then there's
the first one.
Whichever the first one was. Can we hear it real quick? Maybe that'll give us an idea.
Yeah.
Let me hear it.
Not the one. That's the one.
That's the first.
That's the one.
That one right there.
The other one was during the interview with Mansour Delane.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
We did it live.
He said it's better than some QBs.
He did. He said, I think that's towards the bottom, but he said you've got to.
I think a defensive lineman. The next person we play it for, if we play for Jaden Hicks today, has got to be someone on the D line. You know, like we need an R. Mason Thomas, Peter Woods, Chris Jones, somebody who's actually been drawn off sides before. You know,
that'd be
like
the
Jaden Hicks.
Compliment,
he's
Cody.
really
Chris
screwing
Jones
up
said,
if he's jumping off sides.
Hey, if you guys get Chris Jones and Chris Jones says, you know what, this is actually pretty good.
Oh, that's it. I'll be flying high.
Oh, we don't need that.
I don't need anybody else's opinion.
All right, we will go ahead and do that. Someone says, have Drew tell us who Cincinnati's Camp Darling is. Does anybody care? I mean,
it's not Shamar Stewart.
Nope. No, I don't think it really matters.
He got hurt, Drew. Did you see that while you were on vacation?
No, I didn't.
I had to look that up.
Which is fine. I mean, he was going to be in the rotation. He was going to be in the second part of the rotation anyways. They'll be all right.
Their defense is so good now they don't need him.
He's a former first-round pick and just writing his ass off now?
No, I'm not
now
writing
we're just
him
pretending
off.
like he doesn't matter?
I'm not writing him off. I'm just saying Cassius Halboy, Mafe, Miles Murphy. I mean, there are some guys that come ahead of him. So
he's not out for the season. He just hyperextended his knee, so he's out for like a month or more.
Yeah, he'll be fine then. Even better.
Well, I don't know if he'll be fine.
Colby Young I think Colby Young might be the Camp Darling so far, I would say.
There you go.
Another wide receiver, of course.
Right now, it appears to be a two-man race at the top. We'll see if anything changes in that department. But right now, Cyrus Allen and Khalil Benson have certainly been the favorites in the clubhouse in that department. As a reminder, all the guys who have not been practicing didn't practice. Mansour Delane practiced, but in a yellow jersey. No Gelati, no Omar Norman Lott, no Cyrus Allen, and no Xavier Worthy. The one addition to the list was that Christian Fulton was without a helmet. Hopefully, after practice, we'll get an injury update on him, on what took place there. One takeaway, by the way, from camp as we wait for Jaden Hicks to come by. Not exactly blown away with Justin Fields, I'll say. I'm not a quarterback expert by any means, and I was shooting it around with other people just to make sure my eyes aren't deceiving me. Not exactly an elite thrower of the football is what I would say.
There's a reason why he's not a starting quarterback in the
league. In my view of it. And so, like, that part of it, I guess at least,
Yeah, look, I mean, we'll see in preseason. You know, he's going to get plenty. He's going to get plenty of opportunities and plenty of playing time in preseason. Him and Garrett Nussmeier. As we all know, if you get to Justin Fields anyway, your season's already in big trouble to begin with.
Well, we've learned that
now
the hard way.
Compared to last year when Minshew got hurt, 3 plays or whatever it was into his stint, and then we saw, Oladokin, who is still here with the team in camp. We saw, unfortunately, how that went. So, it's pretty obvious. Like, that's why I don't really stress about how Justin Fields looks, because they're in big trouble.
I know.
How about Will Levis? We have that audio ready. How about Will Levis, who I think is delusional on who he is as a quarterback in the National Football League. Here's what he said the other day.
I know I've put the tape out there already that I'm a dang good quarterback in this league, and I'm even better than I ever have been. So
you have a future as a starter in this league?
100%. I know I'm. I think there are not 32 quarterbacks in this league better than me. I know that for sure.
Ooh, now look, you got to be confident as a quarterback. You got to believe in yourself. You got to talk yourself into it.
They're like 50 better.
That's one of those I just don't even know if you say out loud, because there's clearly 32 quarterbacks better than Will Levis.
And I think when you say that, in a lot of ways, even that sentence, in my opinion, when they say that, lacks confidence. Because what you should be saying is there aren't 16 quarterbacks better than me, 20 quarterbacks better than me.
Well, because then we would know it's even more. You can't say that. Come on
32.
Now. Come on now.
Man's just like at the bottom edge.
What did you want to
there
say?
aren't
He's
32.
the best quarterback in
there
football?
Might be 30 better than me, but there aren't 32. It lacks confidence. It oozes insecurity in a lot of ways.
I don't know about
but there might also be 40 quarterbacks better than Will Levis.
There might
45 even.
I don't know if there's them. So he has, ironically enough, he has the same completion percentage as Caleb Williams does. I know, totally different.
Yeah, I mean,
because Will Levis is a turnover machine. But I think from the standpoint of some of the numbers, you can look and be like, I mean, he's got the
Drew.
same
I'd rather have your guy.
I'd
rather have your guy Jake Browning than Will Levis. Okay.
If I had to start a quarterback,
I don't know. I don't know after last year.
But this time last year, if we were having this conversation, you would have said, "Well, obviously."
Correct. Joe Flacco is better than there's not 32 quarterbacks better than Joe Flacco.
I agree. I'd rather have Joe Flacco for a game than I would Will Levis. Absolutely. Absolutely.
There might still be 32 guys better than him.
Upside. It would just be an upside. It would just
I'd
be
probably
the upside.
play the Shedeur part.
It would just be the upside play. That's the only reason why it would be.
Will Levis does a thing that
he has 22 career touchdowns to 37, I believe, or 33 turnovers, and he has more fumbles than he does picks in 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's just difficult to, like, in this case, he makes some of the worst decisions in all of the NFL. I mean, genuinely, in all of the NFL. I will say, Drew, as you had asked for Jeffrey Bassa to be your Camp Darling Island.
He's right in front of us.
He's right in front of us. He gave us a little wave.
Let's go.
He gave us a little wave.
I think he was waving to the kids, Cody, that won an autograph.
Yeah.
I don't think it was to you.
I
want Bassa. We're going to get to this with Camp Darling, but I want Jeff Bassa because I'm convinced that man is going to have an electric game at some point in these first two. And
hopefully.
We're going to be convinced that, he actually might be that guy.
That would be nice. We're also awaiting Joe Blameyer, Chiefs acting offensive coordinator. Drew will let us know when he is at the podium. We'll carry that. Okay, let's go out there while we're waiting for Jaden Hicks.
We've just stepped up. We miss EB, obviously. But in the meantime, everybody, Coach Heck has taken on more roles with the run game and the offensive line. All the position coaches have stepped up. There's just a little bit more administrative stuff to handle, but we've been doing this a long time. We all kind of know what's expected, and we've just been rolling from there.
Have you had a chance to talk to EB about playing football and everything?
Yeah, we talk. He keeps in touch. It was great to hear from him just because, just on a personal standpoint, you were just so devastated for him, and so gave him some time. And he's been reaching out more and more lately with some of the football stuff. So that's kind of brought a little bit of sense of normalcy back to our routine, just hearing him and his thoughts on the football.
The other one on that kind of coaching side, players all the time, when they're not in, they're taking mental reps. Are you like a mental rep for OC guy, or when you just focused on when you were doing your other job? What's that like when
I wish I could say that I was preparing like that. Usually there was just so much going on in each of my past individual roles that it was all I could do to stay afloat with that. In the meantime, stepping up here, I know what's expected and how we operate. The great thing with Coach Reed leading the show on offense and the assistant coaches we have, especially even with our veteran players, we miss EB, but we don't have a leadership void. Everybody kind of understands what the standard is. And as far as the offensive coordinator calling in the plays and just making sure some of the administrative stuff is handled, that's been the biggest thing. Other than that, everybody has just kind of continued on the standard that EB set.
We're a week in here with Patrick out here doing all the things he's supposed to be doing. What have you seen from him? Anything surprise you?
You hate anything that Patrick does to say it surprises you, because he's always pushing the limits of physically what he can do with the football and just the recovery timetable from the injuries that he's had. But still, I haven't seen anything with the knee out there on the field that would lend itself to show any sort of hangover or any sort of setbacks from the season. So that, I hate to say I'm surprised by that, but it's just non-existent, any sort of knee issues, which has been incredible.
What have you seen from, I know Cyrus isn't out here right now, it's been a few days, but what did you see from him in the early on?
Yeah, early on, he grasped the playbook and what we were asking him to do. So that was the first part, the mental. And he has a natural feel for kind of space out there after the snap. So sometimes with young guys, when they're learning the offense, where to line up, all the details of just getting out of the huddle. Some of that, once the ball is snapped, natural ability gets shoved down a little bit. You can still see he was playing with that natural ability. So he's got great physical traits. They were showing up after the snap. His mental stuff was good pre-snap, so you can build on that, and that's exciting. Yeah, he's going to be tough to tackle. He brings another element to the offense. I think it's clear some of our screens so far this camp, a lot of our runs, and then the play actions after that, all that kind of ties in together. So him with the O-line, and then how that opens up the rest of the field. I mean, it's a credit to him. He's been tremendous.
Working on short yardage today. From what you can share, maybe how will it be different in a good way this year?
Yeah, we did short yardage and goal line full pads, so we were able to and do it live with some tackling period. I don't know if it would be different. We're trying to emphasize the strengths of the guys that we have. So we have some new personnel, so we'll emphasize their strengths, and just with the guys that we have returning, continue on with what we built and try to throw a curveball to the defense.
And then I'm just curious.
All right, so that's Joe Blameyer speaking to the media, the acting offensive coordinator at this point in time as practice wrapped up here from St. Joe. Here in just a second, we're going to be joined by Jaden Hicks. Don't forget, our player interviews from training camp are presented by the St. Joseph Convention and Visitors Bureau. You can plan your trip now at stjomo.com. That's stjomo.com, as we'll get the headset on. Jaden Hicks here, and Jaden, it's great to have you on the show, man. We were just watching you were throwing the football around. Did you ever play quarterback? My co-host said, you know what, the throw looks pretty good.
Right. I could have done it all, but I used to play a lot of catch back in my days. I got an older brother. We was always outside throwing the football around, so just kind of learned from him.
Yeah. What was I guess going back to your high school days, or whatever? What position? What other sports did you play? What else were you doing?
Yeah. So freshman year, I did basketball, and then I did track all throughout high school, and then also football as well. So, and in high school, I played cornerback. So, yeah.
Who's the best basketball player on the team, in your opinion? I know you're going to cause a problem by answering this question.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know, because I know that they're competitive about it.
Oh, yeah, and they all think that they're, the LeBrons or something. They think they're the best. So, I'd definitely give it up for either Chris or Pat Packenshoe. I've seen his highlights.
Yeah, those are usually the two names that come up first. I saw yesterday as you were walking down the field, you guys always stop. They got like the social media question. Yeah. And a fan asked you, hey, what was the question today? And all I heard was Love Island, so I want to start there. Let's go there. One, I'm assuming you watched the show.
Yeah, me and my girl, she put me on the show. I only watched a couple episodes, though. It gets a little too much drama.
Okay.
I don't like all the drama.
What was the question? Or was it was something? What was the exact question about a teammate?
Yeah, they were like, what teammate would be the best bombshell for Love Island? I didn't answer it.
You didn't answer?
Like, nah, I'm like, I don't know. But now think about it. I was joking on the sideline with Jeffrey Bossa. I was like, you know what? You would be a good bombshell. He's on social media, posting boxing. He don't box,
How did you spend part of your off season, by the way? Now that you're back in camp and all football's back, how'd you spend the time that you got away?
Yeah, I was back here. I was in Kansas City for most of it, just rehabbing my shoulder, and then I got to go home. I got to go see my sister's graduation, so shout out to her. She graduated college, and then I got to catch a few of my brother's football games. He plays arena football, so I got to go down there, and then as well as Easter, I flew down to Florida to go see my grandparents.
What's he play? What's he play in arena football? What position?
So he was a safety as well. Turned into a linebacker, and now he's so big they started putting him on D-line. So
he's just moving closer to the line of scrimmage.
Exactly. Now he's got the hand in the dirt. But no, they were down a few DNs, and they're like, Hicks, go out there. So he was playing DN when I watched him.
What'd you get for the graduation gift?
Oh, I got her a few things. I got her stuff for her apartment. I got her some money, help her out for future stuff. And then a few just little. I got her gift cards, Sephora gift cards. She loves, all that beauty makeup.
Just make sure that she's taken care of. Is this her first apartment?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got Jaden Hicks joining us here on 96.5 The Fan. You mentioned Arena League, so now I'm just curious. What's a rule or something you can do in Arena League that you wish you could do in the NFL?
That's hard because they play in such a small surface, and then they also got the bowl. So I like how they flip people over the the walls. I think that's a pretty cool part of it.
Yeah. We were watching some of your social media stuff, and maybe I'm misreading it. I think you take pride in your fashion. Is that a a safe assumption?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay, do you think you're the best dressed in the secondary, or who gives you a run for your money?
Oh, for sure in the secondary. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Who do you think it is on the team?
I mean, if there even is a close second, I'd have to. Delane's been dressing out. You know, he's a first rounder. You know, he's got some swag to him. So I'd say probably Mansour.
In that secondary, though, suddenly we were saying on the show earlier, like you're kind of one of the more experienced vet guys. All of a sudden in the secondary,
right.
You got a bunch of young guys there. What's your role? How do you see your role this year?
Yeah, I definitely just being a loud communicator. You know, getting guys on the same page, and then making sure that we're playing at the same level that the Super Bowl team is playing at. So I'm just holding that standard, make sure every guy on the team is holding that standard.
How some of the young guys look? I know Delane obviously right now has still got the yellow non-contact jersey, but how do you view this group?
They're all looking really good. I'm excited for this group. We're all different. We're all here for one goal, and that's to win the championship. And I think everybody has that mindset. So it's a good group of guys.
What's the biggest thing from last year that you guys think could be an area of improvement? Like defensive line might say, hey, let's get some more sacks. Where do you guys think last year, what kind of mistake could be improved based on where you guys are?
Definitely being situationally aware. I think they pulled up a little stat line that we're 26th in third down conversion. So we definitely got to improve there on the third downs, get the ball back to the offense. So just locking in, knowing the D&D down the distance, and, just honing in on the details.
You've got up against Mahomes in practice for multiple years now. How does he look to you?
I mean, I can't believe he's out here, He's out here just throwing the ball, doing everything. So it's great to see, at least on our side, right? But, no, he looks good out there.
We know in practice you're not supposed to hit the quarterback anyway. Everyone just being extra careful to make sure not to make that mistake in an off season like this.
No, we had a couple guys come even like a smudge close, and everybody's like, hey, stay away. So it's funny. We want to keep him clean.
Yeah, no doubt. We got Jaden Hicks with us. So with every player we've got, do you ever rip open sports cards?
Oh, yeah.
You got some guys on the team that do that? All right, so we're trying to find – we got, I think, a numbered Joe Burrow the other day.
Try to find something good.
Our friends over at the Art of Sports in Leawood gave us some packs, so let's see what you got.
I got some friends back home in Vegas that open packs.
Okay.
So shout out Pit Boss Breaks.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so you know the break groups.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Here, I'll just give you this stack, too. We'll see if you get anything good.
Cool.
You can have both.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, they split them like this. They do a little bit like that.
Yeah,
So.
You got to see if there's any color in there and stuff.
No color.
There.
Gabe
right,
Davis,
I'll just put this
Jordan
one down.
Love,
You can try that pile,
Trayvon
too. We'll see if
cool.
we got anything.
See if we get anything good.
Cody, you
just
get
an
anything?
insert. No rookies.
No
I think
rookies.
we struck out on these packs.
Yeah.
All right.
Where'd y'all get these from, man?
At least we got the Joe Burrow numbered.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what's this one?
That's just an insert.
That's an insert, so it looks cool.
It looks cool, right?
At least on the secondary, I've been asking all these guys after we rip them because you start seeing some of these players.
Yeah.
A wide receiver, who gives you the most trouble?
Wide receiver? Man, we played that guy, Terry McLaurin, last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great route runner. And then I would probably say, I think that was the only threat, for real. Yeah.
I mean, he'll give you trouble just because he's a vet. He knows how to get open and can work those angles. On the quarterback end, are there guys that you're like, you look forward to facing because you know the challenge you get? Or are there guys in the league that you're like, okay, I gotta play my best so far?
No, definitely. There's guys even in our division. You got Justin Herbert and Bo Nix. I mean, we look forward to playing those, especially week 1. We got Bo Nix, so that'll be an exciting matchup.
Well, Jaden, we appreciate it, man. Before you leave, you don't mind, we've got a helmet here for some charity. We're doing our Cody Gold garage sale. You got some teammates that have signed it. If you don't mind signing the helmet, we appreciate it. Jaden Hicks with us here on 96.5 The Fan. Our player interviews are presented by the St. Joseph Convention and Visitors Bureau. Plan your trip now at stjomo.com. That's stjomo.com. Good to have you on the show. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Good stuff there from Jaden Hicks. Again, after every practice, different player stops by here from St. Joe. We'll be back up here on Wednesday and Thursday this week as well. We're also going to hear from Kenneth Walker. He's speaking to the media in the tent. We'll talk to, of course, one of the big signings of the offseason, Ken Walker, who, look, when we've watched him, we've said it, Cody, Walker just looks a little different than everybody else they've had in the backfield over the last couple of years as well.
Yeah, he moves at a different speed than they've had in a while. I guess part of this is, man, they have had a lot of mediocrity in the backfield. And I think we've just been living off of these hopes, prayers, whatever it is. But this goes back to the initial stuff when we were talking about. It's not like Isaiah Pacheco wasn't a bad pick. I don't want to make it seem like that. He's a 7th-round rookie who made starts for this team. He mattered. He mattered to the offense for a few years. He was on a team that went to a Super Bowl. But he's also not the caliber of back that they've had in a long time.
The explosiveness is what Ken Walker's going to bring.
You need somebody to take a run and go 10 yards, Take a run and go 15 yards. Break a tackle and make it 6 instead of 2. And he is more than capable of that, whether it be the cutback stuff or the speed or the other things, that's in there. Now, I will say Jaden Hicks ends up being one of the more, now senior guys in the secondary, in a secondary that I think we got a lot of unknowns, especially because Mansour hasn't been practicing. But it's in the secondary right now, I think they could be pretty good, but I mean, it depends on the development of guys like Hicks and a few other guys in order to be sure that this is a really solid group.
Yeah, we had Noah Williams on, what was that, last week, Cody? And we said, if you look at breakout player candidates on the roster, Noah Williams might be one of the first names, second name that people mention.
Yeah.
And he's a big part of that. Jaden Hicks, of course, is a potential big part of that as well. And I think the rest of the room, if you tell me, though, that Mansour Delane is suddenly not available at the beginning, that becomes, other than pass rush, whatever, I would say it's the biggest question mark that the team would have at that point in time.
Sure, but it's just weird because it's also a unit, Alex, that you and I implicitly trust Steve Spagnuolo and Dave Merritt to get quality out of.
Yeah.
They've got an unquestioned track record. Fulton might be one of the few guys who hasn't necessarily worked in the secondary group up until this point. Other than that, they're batting 90%. Or something, or hit 90% on secondary guys. They just let first-round picks. They let guys who are number one corners, they let them go be number one corners for other teams, and they replace them. And they have some other guy, and they find some other safety. That's the thing, though. He was talking a little bit about the numbers on third down. That's where it wasn't just third down. It was that on so many third and fourth and longs, they seemed like they were a little bit lost on defense, and it caused them problems. That's all. I think he's right on that one for sure. So we'll see, I guess, what it is. And look at Hicks.
Yeah, I'll give Hicks some credit. I was just going to say I'll give him some credit. Some of the other players haven't been able to stop and sign. So props to Hicks. He was able after the interview.
They get rushed away
he
too.
He just stopped and was signing for a bunch of kids over here as well. So that's very cool to see. Thanks again to Jaden Hicks for joining us. All right, it is going to be time for a little Camp Darling Island on the other side during the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Plus, we should hear from Nate Taylor and Ken Walker over the next half hour or so on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Flip deal. Participation may vary.
There's something for everyone. Keep your summer going. Get your tickets today at AdventHealthChampionship.com.
Kansas City football fans, Dana Hughes here. Countdown to kickoff is officially on, so now is the time to stock the cooler with Yingling Flight. Whether you're headed to training camp, firing up the grill, or getting together with family and friends on game day, Yingling Flight is the perfect way to enjoy the football season. At just 95 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs, it's everything you want in a light beer. Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Enjoy responsibly.
You don't have to carry everything on your own. Whether you're dealing with stress, anxiety, depression, substance use, or thoughts of suicide, talking to someone can help. And help is available 24/7 through the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can call or text 988 anytime to connect with a trained mental health professional. 988 is free, confidential, easy to remember, and available anytime, anywhere, to anyone. Call or text the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. No judgment, just help.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Josh Simmons from the Kansas City Chiefs, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on Cody and Gold on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour continuing here as we are live in St. Joe for Chiefs training camp presented by Yingling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Thanks again to Jaden Hicks for joining us. We are going to hear from Ken Walker, probably going to be a little bit later just because we're going to do a little Camp Darling Island, and I believe Nate's going to stop by here momentarily, so may not get to Walker. I know somebody texted and said, when am I going to hear from Ken Walker? Probably going to be in the noon hour now.
Yeah.
We'll probably move it to the noon hour, just a heads up. Sorry about that, moving some things around. But Camp Darling Island, Drew, let's get to it.
9 players arrive in St. Joe for Camp Island. Only one can take home the final prize. Who will be the Chiefs' Camp Darling?
All right, for those new to it, Camp Darling Island started last year. Everybody loves a good camp story, a breakout candidate. Last year, Tyquan Thorne was the winner. We all know Love Island is a very, very popular television show, so we've decided over the last year or so to have some fun with it. We drafted players on the first day of camp. Cody had the first pick. He went with Cyrus Allen, Jeff Caldwell, Xavier Lloyd. Drew/JT under protest drafted Emmett Johnson, Garrett Nussmeier, and Ashton Gelati. I mean, Gelati, again, should never have been allowed to be drafted, and Nussmeier was a terrible pick for this. And then I had R. Mason Thomas, Jaden Canaday, and Jalen Royals. One person's voted off. We got to vote somebody else off. Remember, it's just like reality TV. Somebody can get brought to the island late. Something shocking can happen. There's a couple candidates that could get added to the island. Khalil Benson feels like the obvious one. So let's first start with the first elimination. What are we thinking today, guys? Text line 913-586 7965.
So I think it is either Royals, Gelati, or Lloyd. One from each of the three teams.
Yep, I would agree.
I think because Jalen Royals has taken a first-team rep, Lloyd would be above him. I could make an argument for Gelati, and here's the argument I'm willing to make. Here's what I think is Nate Taylor's getting ready to sit down with us as well. Here's my opinion on Camp Darling Island this week. I think Xavier Lloyd gets eliminated, and I will allow Drew Jeffrey Bassa, even though I think he only has a small chance of winning it.
In exchange for who?
Gelati is off his list.
Okay.
If he's eliminated from the island and has no business being on it, I will give him Bassa for Gelati, and we eliminate Xavier Word.
Deal.
Xavier Lloyd.
Yeah.
That's
a fair trade.
Does that seem fair?
Yeah, Gelati should never have been drafted. So, okay, we're going to kick Xavier Lloyd off the island.
Ashton Gelati got kicked off the island, too. Man didn't even get a date.
And Gelati gets kicked off because of a lot of reasons. And Drew then is adding Jeffrey Bassa.
Let's go.
Okay. I still think that's a mistake to me. How are we now this far into camp and Khalil Benson's not on the island? The guy is getting first.
That would be next
three
week.
things in once?
No, I'm just saying that I think Drew should not be able to pick who he had. We should have said basically you can swap.
I wasn't going to give him Benson, though.
Okay.
Because that's a guy who could really win it. I'm not going to just trade out Gelati. I'll give him Bassa, a guy who has a low chance.
All right. Nobody gets Benson, by the way. We're just adding him to the island. Nobody gets Benson.
He's just team everybody?
He's in the middle of the reality TV show. He just shows up, man. All of a sudden, it's a big surprise on TV. That's
Khalil
just what
Benson,
happens.
welcome to the island.
All right.
He got first-team reps today, Nate. Is it a fair add to the island?
We'll get Nate's mic on there.
As someone who's started to learn the show, and Holly was like, we got to watch it. So we watched the last season, and when the bombshell comes in, they do that nice slow walk up, extra slow mo. They give you a different camera filter.
We needed that for Khalil
Benson. Can we get that edit for Khalil Benson coming down the hill?
Once that's our social media gal, Kendall, should be like, Khalil Benson's been added to Camp Darling
in all his glory. Get him down the hill.
The bombshell has arrived.
He's got to be. He absolutely has to be on the island. So updated island: Cyrus Allen, Jeff Caldwell, Emmett Johnson, Jeffrey Bassa, R. Mason Thomas, Jaden Kennedy, Jalen Royals, Khalil Benson. We'll do another elimination either Friday or on Monday. And of course, I would say at that point in time, Caldwell, Royals, and Emmett Johnson might be most at risk, although Cyrus Allen doesn't need to get back healthy. It's
correct.
Too,
yeah,
so
right.
We'll see. All right, Nate, we've been talking to you every day after practice. Today didn't seem like there's as much energy out here. Did you pick up on that as well?
Yes, this is the day I actually look forward to, because the first day in pads is such a celebration, a return to, oh my goodness, we're so close to football. You can actually hear guys' enthusiasm and the energy, and okay, now I get to show the coaching staff, all this work I've been doing in the offseason. First day in pads. We got to do this again the next
they were
day.
back out there.
And coach, who's obviously thorough in his intentions. Well, this practice is going to be longer than yesterday's practice, which means your body's sore, and we're going to go a little longer. So, settle in. We'll be in pads again tomorrow, too, the third straight day, which is when you honestly might see the worst reps of entire camp, because the guys' bodies are really going through it as they prepare for their first preseason game. But I love day two, because day one is a nice, celebration, but okay, let me see it on the second day. Let me see it when you are a little bit more tired. You are more fatigued. You got a little bit more on your plate, with more reps, and coaches designed it in a way that, okay, well, we're going to end practice with a long drill or, a small version of it today, nothing crazy. But I do want to see how you get to it when they get to that 2-hour mark, when you've been in pads twice in the last essentially 30 hours.
And I guess part of that is just like in their evaluation of it, do they value the guys who are capable of just doing it day in and day out? Is that
of course.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You can handle 3 straight days.
Yes.
But that's what stinks about no Worthy and no Hicks. It's like,
correct.
How can I get any feel on the offense when he's out here throwing to nobodies? No offense. I mean, it is kind of tough. Ken Walker looks good, but
right.
He's hitting Travis for the same 9 routes I know he can hit him for. I don't worry about that. But right now, it's like these wide receivers he's throwing to, I'm not even sure they matter to the team this year.
That's the beauty, though, of Travis Kelce, is his durability has always been, I think, underappreciated, because he's been doing it year after year, and he doesn't take off in training camp. That's one of the most noble things I think he's done, despite all the accolades and the
and
success.
they'd let him get away with it in a lot of markets, man. They just
of course,
hang out.
Yeah, just chill out, But he's about work and setting an example for guys. And so I do give credit to Tyquan Thornton, who had a nice bounce back day today. He did really well, much better than he did yesterday in the first day in pads. It was really cool. I actually saw him hanging out with Steve Smith of NFL Network, working on, okay, what would you do against this sort of press? How should I work on these releases right after
cool.
after practice here off to the side? So again, Tyquan Thornton's about the only receiver that matters right now who's actually taking first team reps. We did see for the first time Rashee Rice run some 7-on-7 reps, and he did catch a pass. So nice golf clap to him. He's on the slow journey back to being maybe in full on 7-on-7 or full team 11-on-11 drills.
What's the right amount of usage in your mind for Tyquan Thornton?
Let's
pretend that everyone's healthy in this. What's the right amount to use him before
that's a great
his
point.
exposure point, right?
Yeah, that's a great point in terms of like everybody. If we could guarantee everybody would be healthy for 17 games with their normal capabilities, I think last year he was hovering around 30-35% of the snaps. I would love to see that increase close to about 50%, and that's depending on how much you want to get out of Cyrus Allen if he continues to progress, and how much do the Chiefs really need to go back to 2 tight end sets? Because if you go to 2 tight end sets, you got to take a receiver off. You're not probably doing that with Worthy, and you're not probably doing that with Rashee Rice. So if you can get Tyquan on the field about 50% of the time, same for, I think, really overexposure when it comes to like Noah Gray. Noah Gray does not need to be on the field as much as he did in like 2022 or 2023. Like,
just because the other tight ends were hurt or what? Just they got desperate because they didn't have wide receivers, so Noah played more?
So he had to play more, and he did know the offense, and it's weird. Like, he was a very good blocker in 2023. I actually thought he was underrated in his performance for the offense, and he's had a bit of a slide since then. So in terms of getting the best out of Noah Gray, you might want to actually reduce his snaps compared to what we've seen over the last 2 years. And I do want to see Tyquan Thornton on the field more, because not only is it just more speed, but it's someone that, again, Mahomes really started to like, midway through the last season, and they didn't play him as much when they actually needed him to make a play or two down the stretch. So you gave him a 2-year contract. You kind of need to see what growth looks like for him as a more complete receiver. And he should have decent one-on-one matchups, because Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce are still going to get much of the attention. Xavier Worthy's capabilities to take the top off, so you could be maybe that guy in the intermediate zone or the secondary guy running deep to be open for Mahomes.
We're talking to Nate Taylor from ESPN here after practice again in St. Joe. We heard from Joe Blameyer. We carried most of that, and then Jaden Hicks showed up. So we didn't maybe catch the tail end, so you can fill us in maybe a little bit. What stood out for you for him? First time we've really heard him speak as a show.
Yes, and he's someone who's in as we talked about before, in a tricky situation. We do not know when Eric Bieniemy's coming back. It is clear that the coaching staff and some of the players have been able to talk to Eric Bieniemy. So again, I think that's another positive sign in terms of just what's going on with Eric and his wife Mia and him. As Andy Reid said a couple days ago, we are giving him the tape if he finds the time, if he has the ability to take a break. So I don't know if it's like when Mia's asleep or if it's late at night or early in the morning.
Anyone's been with someone in the hospital for a long time. There's a lot of sitting around.
That's true. So you can go through things and give notes, and obviously he's in communication with Joe Blameyer. But the thing I took away from this is Joe Blameyer understands that, all right, I'm not Eric Bieniemy. Cool. But I still have to give very distinct, detailed teaching notes to everybody in the offense. Problem is, Xavier Worthy ain't out there, Cyrus Allen ain't out there, Rashee Rice ain't out there. Hey, at least we got this Khalil Benson kid. That's fun. But, he's mostly being, deferring to Andy Heck, the offensive line coach, and Andy Reid. I asked him point blank, hey, man, y'all been letting this dude roll to the left. Y'all been letting him roll to the right. Does your heart do something when he's starting to get into creation mode and let me get my little, scramble jukes, my little, hesitation moves, my sprints with this knee brace on? And of course he says, yes, Nate. my heart does do something. But he understands that, we can't take that away from Patrick. So by the coaching staff, this is very much chicken and egg. And I'm glad that Blameyer explained this. Coaching staff, hey, man, everything that's in the playbook is available. So we're going to install it. So that means it's up to you to operate it the way it should be operated. And that is giving Mahomes the freedom to say, okay, I do want more under center stuff. I know Kenneth Walker likes being under center. Let's get to play action, speed rollouts, delayed rollouts, play actions where I have to change my landmark or my drop back. And then, of course, they started doing, they've done an occasional RPO, and Mahomes has gotten into the DN's crashing because it's Ken Walker. Let me go out there and run around for a little bit. So they've given him the freedom, but they've also not tried to make this any different. And I'm fascinated to see how much that continues throughout camp.
Did you find it interesting that Joe Blameyer essentially openly admitted that this is more than he can do as one man?
Yes.
And
we talked about that. Yes.
He openly admitted. He said, hey, can you do both jobs? And he's like, the last job took all my time.
Right.
Now you want me to do my job and his job? That's
Correct.
a lot of work.
Correct.
And he didn't say it that way. It wasn't like a negative, but
it's a reminder, though.
It's a reminder that it is that the Chiefs are set behind at least a little bit.
Yes.
In the absence of Eric Bieniemy, because someone's job somewhere along the trail of jobs isn't getting done the way it used to be getting done.
Right.
Now, look, you got Andy Reid, you got Patrick Mahomes. You were saved with some of that.
Of course, yeah.
But there is, I found it interesting he admitted it, that he said it out loud.
And it's important that, just like everybody on the team, when we see them on the field, has roles, so do the coaching staff. So the coaches meet every night to discuss what they saw in practice, what's going to be next for the team. Hey, should we actually do this team period? Should we do that one? Should we focus more on the blitz, and how we want to counteract that? Should we be more about the screen game? And let's just, now that we got the pads on, guys, let's just get under center and let's actually see, DeMarcado. Let's see Johnson, behind our offensive line. Obviously, we know we're going to give a lot of reps to, Ken Walker.
But it's still only 60%.
Yeah, but the coordinator has a lot to say about all those decisions. And now you're giving that to Blameyer on top of, hey, we're building concepts. We're trying to build routes that make sense from a schematic standpoint about what Mahomes sees and what he's comfortable with. And, of course, we got to start figuring out what our offense is for our first opponent. And importantly, that's a divisional opponent more than anything else, a team that obviously knows us pretty well. So the fact that he said, hey, I'm talking to EB. I know there's a lot. I know I can't be EB. But, yeah, man, this is tough. He's probably going to be the one working just as hard as Andy Reid because of how unique the circumstances are.
Around the NFL today, we saw the Zay Flowers deal happen. 4 years, $140 million extension, $108 million guaranteed.
You know what that tells me?
Well, our first reaction was, man, look at all the money you blew, Rashee Rice. That was our first reaction.
I did hear that. I did hear that quite a bit. And the Chiefs, in a similar situation to the Baltimore Ravens, said, I don't know if Zay Flowers is that good, but he's the only receiver we got. So we got to pay him. Look, man,
who else do they have? They draft somebody? Who did they draft?
They don't have anybody else of significance.
I was going to say, I'm trying to legitimately, I'm struggling. Is Bateman there still? I'm trying to remember the wide receiver.
I mean, that's who's been their number two consistently over the last couple of years. But
Zay's a lot like Rashee Rice. He's a low-end one. He's a
Bateman,
serviceable starting wide receiver, but he's not a star. He's not a tier 2 starter.
Right. At least
wide receiver. He's good.
At least I can say that Rashee Rice has been a better player in the postseason than Zay Flowers.
Sure.
But Zay Flowers is a more consistent professional. And that's where the give and take is.
But that's what, if I'm Rashee Rice, I hate myself every day for the, running away, driving a car 140 miles an hour away from $140 million or whatever. That money was there.
The hard
you were going to be gifted it. It was in your lap.
The hard part of life is we all get choices, and the choices are yours and yours alone. And sometimes those choices come with significant consequences. And sometimes you make choices that maybe aren't the best, and you kind of get away with it. That's sort of life in a lot of ways. It seems like the poor choices he has made have always come back to bite him.
Yep.
And now he's not even a full participant in early August of training camp for a gotta-have-it contract year. And, yes, your peers who are in the same draft class as you are starting to get paid. And let me tell you, dude, he don't play with Patrick Mahomes, right? They have a new coach in Jesse Mitchell, who I'm very high on, but that's a defensive-minded coach. You got Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
We hope and think that Eric Bieniemy is going to be in the mix, but you're still running routes next to Travis Kelce. There's no excuses, sir, based on.
And they target you. They'll throw you the ball.
I mean, yeah. And so if you would have given Zay Flowers the same opportunity as Rashee Rice, I would be interested to see
how
it would have played out. Would he be under contract beyond this season? Now the Chiefs are a little different than Baltimore. I want to make that clear. The Chiefs like to wait till after training camp to do extensions. Or, hey, let's get to the preseason. Let's make sure everything's okay. Give us a little bit more time. Let's, the season's kind of a soft deadline, but let's do it before cutdown day, essentially, right? So the Creed Humphrey deal was I think the second or the third preseason game, for instance. So you can kind of do that, but the Ravens ain't got no other receivers. And the Chiefs are in a similar situation with a superstar quarterback. Now, I love Lamar Jackson, but he ain't Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
So how much can that knee improve between now and September 14th?
It's a lot of weeks still.
It's almost 6 weeks.
I think he will look like regular Patrick Mahomes. I understand that there'll be some limitations of it, and they won't be totally done with the way that they play call. But I'll tell you right now, the second Mahomes gets pressure and he tells himself he's not going to my big thing is don't get to 2 yards. I know that little
I thought you were about Rashee Rice's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, it's both, honestly.
Yeah.
It's honestly both. But yeah.
For those guys, it's they have a lot of injuries like Mansour now, and I saw your cohort over at ESPN is saying
we're weeks away from
this is what I told
from looking at it.
That's what I told Carrington. Carrington asked me last night last afternoon if people weren't listening. Hey Nate, if they had a preseason game today, would Mansour Delay be playing? And I said no, not a chance.
They had a regular season game, he wouldn't be playing today.
And the key word that I said is, I'm not sure if we're going to see him a month from now, right? They may have to do this a different way than they want, which is, hey, he'll be ready for the opener,
but
he might not be having any preseason, prep to get ready for himself. He's going to have to do it through practice and obviously a lot of film study, and that may limit his role on opening night.
But but that's what I was about to say. Let's say he's ready for week 1. He's healthy. He's been cleared.
By the way, I think he will be ready for week 1. I think the question now is, will he be available to have contact, to tackle, to press man coverage in a preseason game?
Will they let him, I guess is my question, be corner 1 if he is
That is not a Steve Spagnuolo.
But he's the 6th overall pick. This was their whole plan. This is the problem.
I know.
Their big plan in the secondary was...
I know, Cody.
Delane immediately replaces Trent McDuffie, and we'll make the rest work because we're good at this.
Right. That don't sound like that, but that don't sound like Steve Spagnuolo. That also doesn't sound like Andy Reid. I need to see you play, man. You're a rookie. It is not. I know people will say, and I can kind of hear them in my mind. But Nate, didn't they play L'Jarius Sneed on opening night? Yes. They also didn't have preseason games because it was the COVID year.
Yeah, it's different.
Trent McDuffie played all 3 preseason games, guys. I think people need to be reminded that
everybody plays.
This is a traditional old school staff, man. You got to work there are levels to this, man. You can't climb the ladder and jump levels. This ain't no video game where you can just simulate it or hey, EA wants how much money?
No.
You want how much money? Man, this road to glory, dog. I'm trying to do the old-fashioned way. Why are you trying to speed the game up?
I will say.
They don't know what these kids, they treat these kids like, just give me $5 more and you can get through this, you get this little recruiting, no, man. You got,
they don't let you take shortcuts.
No, this coaching staff is like Sega Genesis, baby. You got to go through the whole level.
I will say, but even despite that, I still couldn't understand why Tobe yesterday was like, even Mansour would have played special teams. I'm like, excuse me, sir. You didn't have to take it that far. Sometimes we always reach for the analogy and you just go one step too far.
But they're not going to do that with Peter Woods. So his argument is kind of archaic because it's you're not putting R. Mason Thomas and Peter Woods in special teams. You're not.
What's crazy is no one's talking Cyrus Allen should have been playing special teams, but
not your 6th overall.
Overall pick.
Yeah,
that man doesn't need to play gunner.
Now look, most special teams coordinators will tell you that it's a skill position unit now because there's not the old school style of obviously building the wedge, and there's a lot more action within space. And we even got a presentation from the referees, Bill Vinovich and his motley crew. I don't think it was his full cool.
Did a couple of guys on the Chiefs team, I want to make sure we're at that presentation. A couple of guys on the special teams unit got called for a few different holds. Were they there? I want to make sure they do.
What Jack Cochran doing right now?
Was he in?
I did not see Jack Cochran.
I'm going to need him in the meeting.
Now, I think they give a presentation to the coaching staff. I don't know if the coaching staff says, hey, come on down. Hey, you come with me.
Jack.
No, every film, every video clip they used of holding calls, he was featured.
He was prominent. That's funny. But, I just know that, like, you're going to see a lot of linebackers. You're going to see a lot of tight ends, running backs, receivers, cornerbacks, safety. That's mostly what the special teams era we're in is going on. Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, you can't do no, he should not have that problem. Mansour should be focused solely on being a great cornerback.
Nate Taylor from ESPN, I was told to ask you before we let you go how the sushi was. I have no context to that. I was told by someone to ask you how the sushi was. I have no idea why.
Something sit wrong in the stomach?
No, I enjoy sushi.
Okay.
I had some on Sunday. It was pleasant, you know.
That doesn't sound good.
You know, one of my good friends from ESPN, a production producer, Weimer from Las Vegas, comes down, and every time she gets sushi. She likes the sushi here at the casino. So
okay,
you know, people understand that this is a growing joke. That yes, I live in Kansas, and if I can have sushi, that would be great. If I could have bronzino every day, that would be great. Honestly, you know, I'm not afraid of seafood, despite where we live. But the sushi was fine. You know, nothing spectacular, but it did its job.
Nate Taylor.
I haven't had the camp bug yet. Like, thank the Lord.
It usually hits you somewhere along the way.
It really does.
Go get some lettuce.
No, please don't. I think
Alex says you've just been eating just the whole time, just still eating lettuce.
Yeah.
Never stopped.
Yeah, I've never stopped.
You're the person that says, "Hey, there's no better time to fly. There's no better time to eat Taco Bell. There's no better time."
All I said was
to put lettuce down.
Live your life, but I'll tell you right now, if you're hugging the bowl a couple days from now, you'll get no sympathy from me. Nate, you get sick, I'll be like, "Damn, Nate, that stinks." Alex gets sick, I'll be like, "You had this coming."
Yeah, I think, you know. I've been covering this sport for almost 10 years, and I would see players get smoothies after practice and never think to do it myself until this year. And so, like, shout out to Smoothie King. Smoothie King has kept my stomach intact.
Get
like
a
lot of
food, little angel food.
Little water, little smoothie, you know, get some protein, but not too much. Yeah.
I was worried about Kingsley yesterday.
Yeah, middle of the interviews. Stomach cramps. All right, our training camp coverage presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up, grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app, find a location near you. Up next, we'll get to what's trending, some more camp observations, and a look back at the trade deadline in baseball.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Man, that was the insurance company again.
What'd they say?
They want another statement, more paperwork. They're telling me what my car's worth. Now they want all my medical records.
Dude, why are you dealing with all that?
Call the Car Crash Kings.
One call and they deal with the insurance company for you. The calls, the paperwork, the negotiations. You just focus on getting better.
Hurt in a car wreck? Don't do it yourself. Call the Car Crash Kings. It's what we do.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely from advertisements.
Men, erectile dysfunction can affect much more than just your sex life. It can create stress in relationships, leading to feelings of anxiety or embarrassment, and impact your overall confidence and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and we specialize in treating men's sexual health issues to help men find solutions that fit their individual needs. ED is a frustrating condition, and many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But the good news is that if you're like most men, we have the answer. Our licensed medical providers will evaluate your specific medical situation and recommend a plan designed for you. And these advanced medical therapies work, with treatments having success rates of well over 90%, which means you and the one you love can have great sex again without the fear and worry of ED. You can even last up to an hour or more, and you may just find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
How old is your roof? If it's over 15 years old, now's the time to catch small issues before they become costly repairs. Century Roofing has protected Kansas City homes for more than 36 years and installed over 36,000 roofs. That's why homeowners voted Century Roofing Best Roofing Company in Johnson County for the 5th year in a row and Best in Kansas City for the 2nd consecutive year. Schedule your free inspection today at centuryroofingkc.com. KC based and female owned. Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
In Kansas City, some traditions never go out of style. Since 1919, Dixon's famous chili has been serving its legendary recipe to generations of loyal customers, including President Harry S. Truman, who called Dixon's his favorite. More than 100 years later, they're still serving the same great taste with the same commitment to quality. Stop in for their famous Build Your Own Chili. All-you-can-eat tacos every day, or let Dixon's cater your next event. Whether it's your first visit or your 100th, you'll taste a true Kansas City tradition. Dixon's famous chili, proudly serving Kansas City since 1919.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor, and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
Go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win Kansas City Chiefs scratch tickets, plus a chance for the grand prize Chiefs bundle, which includes a framed jersey and a signed photo. All thanks to our friends at the Kansas Lottery.
Hey, it's Carter Jensen, and this is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
#1 on What's Trending. We continue broadcasting live here in St. Joe. Practice wrapped up about an hour or so ago. We had Jaden Hicks stop by. You'll hear that conversation again in the 1 o'clock hour. Also going to hear from Kenneth Walker here in about 5 minutes or so. No real injury updates today, kind of status quo. You know, it's the same Omar Norman lot on the PUP list. Cyrus Allen, Xavier Worthy still not practicing after that injury on Saturday. Joe Laudy dealing with the hamstring. Mansour Delane still in the yellow non-contact jersey. Not a whole lot else out of camp, quite honestly, today. Injury-wise is always good when there's not a really new injury, but also even just visually, once again, Khalil Benson continues to get first-team reps first at right tackle. Today, and Nate agreed, kind of a low-energy practice. It was the longest practice they've had of the year, so maybe some guys are ramping up and feeling it.
Dragging.
Yeah.
A little bit. But also maybe the fans wasn't big as of a crowd, so maybe it felt that way. But this is how Andy tests them. He put them in pads multiple days in a row. They only get so many padded practice. You think they'd spread them out? No. Andy just hits them with it and forces them to deal with it. Next up on what's trending, the trade deadline, a wrap. Across Major League Baseball, the Royals finished with 2 trades, Lane Thomas and Chris Bubich, at least on the Major League end. They obviously made a minor leaguer for minor leaguer trade as well for a DFA guy, at least on that. And the Royals play the Twins tonight at the K after a day off yesterday. And then pregame, they'll be honoring Salvador Perez as the Royals' new home run champion. So be in your seats early, make sure you catch that.
Back to the NFL, where the Falcons and running back Bijan Robinson have agreed to a 3-year extension worth up to $75 million, $51 million guaranteed. Him and Jahmyr Gibbs were the 2 running backs we were waiting to see what would happen. This now probably will allow, I bet you, the Gibbs deal to get done pretty soon in Detroit as well. Also, as we were discussing in the last segment, wide receiver Zay Flowers and the Ravens have agreed to a 4-year, $140 million extension with $108 million guaranteed.
Better to be a wide receiver than a running back is what I learned there, because I think you and I both know who the more impactful player is on Sundays typically. Next up on What's Trending, the Commanders are monitoring, according to reports, Stephon Diggs as they look to add a second wide receiver. Remember, they were maybe interested in Debo, and then, of course, Ayuk, who can't step out of his own way, at least on that other way. In other NFL news, Kenyon Sadiq had a setback following his hernia surgery. The team is now hopeful, but not 100% sure he will be ready for Week 1 now. So the Jets might be without Kenyon Sadiq to start the season, who had an injury setback today.
College football preseason coaches poll is out. You know how much I hate preseason polls, but
any of the locals?
Let's go through it. Number 1, by the way, Ohio State, Oregon 2, Georgia 3, Texas 4, Notre Dame 5. That's your top 5. The Missouri Tigers, the last spot on the preseason coaches poll, top 25. They come in at number 25. If you're just wondering some of the rest, real quick, at number 6 was Indiana, 7 Miami, A&M was 8, OU was 9, Ole Miss was 10. So
would they have Texas Tech?
12.
Coaches stuff.
12.
Okay.
Right behind Alabama.
I was hoping they just
the Big 12 had Texas Tech at 12, BYU at 15.
Utah at 21 and Houston at 24. Yeah. Houston,
Big
Utah.
12.
Yeah, but none in the top 12. None outside the top 10.
Preseason coaches poll, it just doesn't matter. I hate these.
The Big 12 doesn't have elite talent. The Big 12 doesn't have a top-tier team in college football. They're deep.
I know.
K-State did get 1 vote, by the way.
Would Tech have been top 10 if they had Sorsby?
Yeah. Yeah.
A spot or 2 higher. Maybe 1 spot in front of Alabama.
Yeah, 8 or 9 probably would have been the answer. Lastly, on What's Trending, Cleveland's new WNBA team. They've announced their new team name. They will be the Sirens.
Huh?
Do you know what a siren is? Like a female who calls to men to murder them, usually, or whatever. Is that it's like a female
nickname?
siren is somebody who
So they're the Cleveland Hitmen, but it's the woman version.
It's not that. It's not.
That's basically what you just said.
I mean, that's kind of like a siren is somebody in mythology who's a human-like being with an alluring voice who lures you into get you into trouble. Maybe not murder you, but get you into trouble.
So they have they have their main logo, and then they've got the logo that's kind of like the 76ers logo. Their logo's pretty sick. I actually really like it.
Yeah, I think it's not bad.
I think it's really cool. 2028 they debut.
Appeared in the Odyssey. Roman poets placed them on small islands, and some rationalization. They just draw you in with their voice, essentially, right?
I like it.
I think it's a different name.
It's definitely different. It's definitely different.
Sometimes it's it's not but it's to lure you into trouble. Here comes the sirens call. I'm going to lure Alex into bad behavior or whatever.
I saw Cleveland put out "Hear the Call" as their slogan.
Hear the call. Okay,
Yeah.
look, that's pretty sick. That's
this.
not bad. I do kind of like it.
That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. We'll get to some camp questions from Drew in a couple minutes, but Kenneth Walker, Chiefs running back, spoke to the media after practice today. Here's what he had to say about the offensive line and what he's seeing from this offense.
How'd it feel to be out there with pads on, going through more traditional football practice?
It felt great, We've been out here with no pads, and you don't know if it's a tackle or not. But it's good to have pads on finally. You get the thud and, get that football feel back.
Last year you faced off against Kyra Stronger in the Super Bowl. I'm curious if you guys have had any friendly banter about that game since then, and just what's it like being on the same team this year?
Yeah, it's great being on the same team as him. You know, he's got a great personality. I was just talking to him just then, but yeah, when we finally met, and we was talking about like the Super Bowl and the plays and everything and each team. But yeah, it's great to have him on the team, and I'm ready to be able to ball on this side.
He doesn't have to try and tackle you now?
Yeah, I mean, he got to try and practice, so, but he's been doing a great job.
Hey Ken, when we got Emmett here, when we asked him about you, he said, you're someone who cares about the group.
Yeah.
What do you think he meant by that? What example would you give?
Yeah, honestly, you know, just bringing guys with me. You know, I've been here longer than them in the league, you know, so I don't want them to make the same mistakes that I made when I was just getting to the league, if that makes sense. You know, so I want them to learn quicker than I learned, and, you know, I don't want it to be a drop-off at all. So, you know, making sure those guys are good, which is they've been doing great. Everybody in the room has been doing great. And, yeah, I just want to make sure we all on the same accord.
Do you have an example of not making the same mistakes or advice you can give?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely. Like, even off the field, just diet and, I mean, obviously he probably got a great diet, but diet and routine, all types of stuff that I didn't do early on in my career, I want them to do it before, you know. I feel like the earlier they do it, the better they'll be, you know, leading up to, you know, year 4 and year 5 and stuff like that.
Kenneth, a couple times at camp we've seen you're comfortable turning the field around. I guess what gives you the confidence that you're able to do that and not lose yardage in game?
Yeah, that's just how I've been playing since I was a kid, you know, just learning from my pops and, you know, watching backs in the league. Honestly, just learning from my pops, though. You know, if he says too many people over here, go the other way, you know, and I feel like it still works to this day. You know, I don't want to run into a crowd if I can go somewhere in open field, so.
That takes tremendous vision. I guess, at what point of your career did you realize, okay, you know, I'm comfortable enough to do so?
Yeah, like I said, growing up, I've been doing it since I was younger, so, you know, just getting better at it as I go, you know, high school, college, and then to the pros.
Kenneth, you guys did some short yardage stuff today. Obviously, Zach had a lot of that in Seattle last year. What's your eagerness to be involved in?
Yeah, honestly, like I always say, any way I can make a positive impact on the team, I'm going to do it. So, you know, short yardage, passing, blocking, anything, you know, I want to go out there and do it.
A couple more, we'll start with Blair. Okay, what have you enjoyed about Coach Bieniemy's coaching, and when he returns, will continue for you?
Yeah, first off, prayers to his family, you know, just take his time, and, you know, when he gets back, until then, we'll hold it down, you know, and when he gets back, we ready to have that intensity and that energy. That's what I love most about him, and how detailed he was with everything, like passing, blocking, running. You can't take a play off because he's going to say something to you about it. So, you know, you just got to be on point with Coach EB.
Go Nate, and then Todd closes out.
Ken, I'm sure you're learning about a little business just like we are. Is there anything that has stood out to you about how he's done so well this far into camp as an undrafted rookie?
Yeah, definitely. He's done great. You know, we got pads on now, and you get to see how well he's doing out there, and you know, he's going to have a great impact on his team. And just like our other O-line, they've been doing great as well. So it's been great to be able to run behind those guys, and, you know, actually like ask them questions about pass pro and everything else. You know, they really helpful in that aspect as well.
Last one,
A couple quick things. Has EB been texting you, calling you since he's been away?
Oh, no, we got to talk to him on Zoom. You know, he's been in some of the meetings, and, you know, anything, you know, he's still watching. So he'll be watching, you know, anything we mess up on, he'll critique it and everything and make sure we still on point with everything. But, yeah, I sent him a text out, and, yeah, we still in contact.
Damian Williams, former Chief, has been here. What have you learned from him? What's he been like to be around?
It's been cool because he went through everything. You know, he went through the camps, the seasons. You know, he was in the Super Bowl. So it's been cool to have him around and, you know, tell him what I see and how he sees things as well. So I'm glad we got him here.
So that was Kenneth Walker speaking to the media after practice, talking about some of the former Chiefs that were here. We saw Damian Williams, Trent Green, Dwayne Bowe, Tyrann Mathieu. Am I missing anybody? All were here at practice today, kind of hanging out as well. And then, look, he was asked about Eric Bieniemy, and what we learned today between what Blameyer had to say and now Kenneth Walker, sounds like Eric Bieniemy's still doing some Zooms with them and still watching film, even while he's, of course, dealing with way more important things.
You know, it's difficult because when you're in a setting like that, there is a lot of downtime. Like, there is. Like, because there's a lot of sitting and waiting for the next thing to happen, essentially. Anytime, if you've even been in the hospital for 2 days, you understand that and know how that works. And so if he wants to spend some of that time doing that, I'm not going to judge him. I would still say take your time. You don't have to rush back. But I've said I think pretty much from the beginning, there's no reason for him to come back for training camp. Like, and if he needs more time than that, that's fine too. But like, what's the rush in getting back in the next 2 weeks? Gold, just take that time, join the team in Kansas City. Not stuck in a dorm up in St. Joe in unfamiliar settings, and not familiar enough for him, but like adding another layer of difficulty to the job you're already doing. I wouldn't do that. Ken Walker is the single biggest reason why I'm high in the offense this year, because I can make an easy point that, especially because of the injuries now to Cyrus Allen and Xavier Worthy, that the wide receiver should give you some pause. But for an offense that has been good, not great, for a couple of years, Ken Walker is the reason why they can be great. Like, that's why he's such an important player for the team this year. And they do seem to be designing parts of their offense to include the reasons why he has been really good over the last couple of years.
Yeah, the reason for optimism, other than just your belief that they're looking within and they're tweaking some of their scheme, is absolutely Ken Walker. Explosiveness out of the backfield. They have not had that in years. That's why we're excited. Yeah, you hope that Worthy takes a step forward and that Rice can stay healthy. But, yeah, the biggest difference on the offense this year from a player standpoint is that they have a legitimate running back.
Yep.
A guy that can be a top 10 running back on the back end of that, but a top 10 running back in football and turn a 7-yard gain into a 20-yard gain. They haven't had that.
I would say it is like some of those stats that we pointed out with Mahomes on the positive. We cannot emphasize probably enough. Patrick Mahomes, in his entire career as a Kansas City Chief, has never had a 1,000-yard rusher. We're not even.
They came very close, but they haven't had one.
We're not even asking that much. It's a pretty low bar. Like, he last year was borderline their leading rusher because of the injuries and all the amount that he ran. But go through it year by year and understand that, like, this isn't gonna do. He hasn't had enough help in that department, and because of that, it does matter. Kareem Hunt led the team in rushing the last 2 years. It's 611 and 728 yards. Before that, it was a 7th-round player in Isaiah Pacheco at 935 and 830. The year before that, it was Darrell Williams at 558. Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 803. Damian Williams with 498. These are the seasons under Mahomes. He's had more guys under 500 yards as his leading rusher than he has had guys over 930. So, like, I mean, genuinely, he has never had a running back like Kenneth Walker, other than maybe, and I do mean maybe, the like 7 games he got to enjoy with Kareem Hunt before he got kicked off the team. That's it.
Our training camp coverage presented by Yingling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Let's get to some camp questions.
Camp questions.
All right, guys. One of the things that you brought up with Nate, and you brought it up a little bit earlier as well, is Mansour Delane. I want to ask you, from 1 to 10, what is your level of concern regarding the shoulder for Mansour Delane? Not necessarily for just his season availability, I guess, but just, is this something, given his position, that you're a little bit more concerned about, given that he's the 6th overall pick, he's supposed to be the number 1, and all the other things that you guys have talked about? Concern level from 1 to 10 regarding Mansour Delane and this lingering shoulder issue.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 or 6.5, no higher than that. I mean, there's a difference between, as you were saying, this season versus long-term. My feeling doesn't change at all. It's not like this is a shoulder injury. You know, this is not an ACL or anything that you wonder, like, could potentially impact how the player performs long-term. This year, it's definitely 6.5, and it's getting closer to a 7, just because we now find out more information from Nate and Jeremy Fowler that there's a real chance that we're not going to see him is a question. Although I did like Nate Taylor mentioned, while we were talking about everything, he did sneak in there and say he still believes, he personally believes Mansour Delane will be playing week 1.
But the question is how much?
Yeah.
Will he be playing like a true number 1 corner opposite Jalen Waddle for 99% of the snaps, or is he going to play 60% of the snaps? So I do feel like they're not going to get a full Mansour Delane by week 1, which means my concerns, probably in that same range. 5 or 6, Drew, would be my answer.
Second question for you guys. I think I saw this, I don't know who it was from, but yesterday, Shamari Connor said he likes playing safety. I think the Chiefs should absolutely listen to him and stop playing him at corner. I know that the circumstances are different, obviously, with the players, but I would say they need to play him at safety as much as possible and avoid the corner stuff based on what we saw last year. You agree with that, or do you kind of like what he's been doing where he's been floating around here, around the DB area, around the secondary over the last, I don't know, couple years?
I'd rather he play linebacker than corner. I'm not even kidding.
Okay.
Like, like if he was just the near the line of scrimmage safety, borderline a 3rd linebacker or 4th linebacker, I prefer that over corner 1,000%. He got exposed in the slot last year, and this is one of those cases where I think the Chiefs are really smart. They know more about football than me, but every once in a while, everybody can see something that I don't think a team can, or they're too close to it, or Spags trusts him, so he just lets it happen. They let Shamari Connor get himself in trouble a lot in the slot last year. He doesn't belong anywhere near it. He's a decent safety. I think he's really good near the line of scrimmage as a safety. So just let him do that and stop messing around. If he plays any slot corner this year, I'll be disappointed.
Well, if he does, it probably means some other injuries. It probably means some poor
they got more
performance.
bodies this year.
I think, safety is where he'll eventually settle in, but they got to see where their depth's at right now, because not only are we talking about Mansour Delane, we know Christian Fulton has a hip injury.
Yeah.
He did not practice today.
It's not like Snead's ever been healthy.
And I understand not all those guys play in the slot, but the point is the entire cornerback room, though, you got to have a guy that's available.
Sure.
And they need to have him help out. But, Shamari Connor, I'm not surprised to hear him say he feels comfortable at that spot, because when we've seen him play, he looks his best there. You can tell he's comfortable.
Yeah. But they brought in Snead. They brought in Kohu. They drafted Canada. They drafted Delane. They still have Fulton under contract from last year. I got to be honest, there isn't like a real reason for Shamari Connor to play corner, barring multiple injuries, not even just one.
Final one for you guys. I saw our guy Ron Cobb Jr., who we recently had on for Fan Club, had tweeted out that Drew Tranquill looks really, really good. Are we going to get the Drew Tranquill we saw a couple years ago when they went 15-2? Or are we going to see last year where it felt like he was a little bit slower, kind of behind the eight ball? Do we get a refreshed version of Drew Tranquill to help lead that defense up a little bit?
Yeah, I wonder how healthy he was last year on top of it. But, they desperately need it. We've talked about the linebacking group. You know what you're getting from Nick Bolton. I think you know what you're getting for Drew Tranquill. The question was the scheme part of it, too. When Tranquill's out there asked to be in coverage on a tight end or worst-case scenario, wide receiver randomly, he's going to look bad and get exposed. But I wonder if he wasn't fully right. He looked off last year at times. We know what he was, as you said, Drew, 2 years ago. I think they'll be somewhere in between there. I expect a much better year from him. But they better have that, because if all of a sudden you have Tranquill that's not at that level, and you have a first-time starter, we think maybe in Bossa, either way, or McDonald, because McDonald continues to get some run.
He does.
As well. He spoke actually today as well. Then you're in some trouble. So they desperately need Tranquill to be that. I think he will bounce back at least and give you somewhat close to what he was 2 years ago.
So some of it is certainly that he just didn't play very well, but I think some of his exposure point was the same problems we just talked on defense. No one on the defensive line to actually help him, so he just gets exposed. No, the safeties had trouble, so all of a sudden he's finding himself in coverage spots. I think he got exposed partially because, despite the fact the defense was top 5 points per game, because Spags, man, he can just do it. It was the worst defense I think they've had under Spags. I know that sounds crazy because, they finished as a top 5 scoring defense in the league. I actually thought it was the worst defense they've had under him. And so because of that, I think he got a little overexposed. I expect a better year out of him, but I don't think he's just going to find the fountain of youth either, Yeah. He's still a linebacker in his 30s. I don't think he's just going to all of a sudden turn into 5 years ago Drew Tranquill.
So those are our camp questions here on 96.5 The Fan. Don't forget, our training camp coverage is presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up, grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. Up next, let's talk about the trade deadline that has come and gone. We had JJ Picollo on the show earlier, but let's discuss what the Royals did and didn't do, plus the random question of the day right here on 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's August, which means pretty soon your kids will be going back to school, and that means time to get your stuff back together. At Low T Center, they're turning back the clock and making you try to feel like the younger version of yourself by offering you up a free T test. That's because when you get over 40, like I am, low testosterone affects men commonly. And so if you know that the exercise hasn't been the same, you don't have the energy to play with the kids the same way, whatever it is, your sex life is not the same. Those things can all be a sign of low testosterone. So if you've been dealing with low energy, low sex drive, and those things, head over to Low T Center. Don't ignore it. Go to fixmylowt.com and book an appointment for a free T test today. That's fixmylowt.com. If you qualify for treatment, they accept insurance, so don't delay. Again, that's fixmylowt.com.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal.
For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip deal. Participation may vary.
You work hard, you pay your bills, but with credit cards, higher gas and grocery prices, you're making the payments, but not getting ahead. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Golden Oak can help you refinance, consolidate bills, and free up monthly cash flow. Call today for a free mortgage checkup. There's never a charge to talk with us.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Whether you're commuting to work or heading out for a fast coffee break, getting an auto insurance quote is just a tap away. With AAA, you're always connected, so you can focus on the road ahead. Rest easy knowing AAA's got you covered, no matter where life takes you. AAA, we're always with you. To start your quote, visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
Baseball fans, America's pastime is a game of decisions. Is it going to be a fastball or a sinker? Should you swing big or play for the bunt? And FanDuel is giving you that same strategy every Dinger Tuesday with a choose-your-own-reward customization, which allows you to transform the experience. Option 1, the bet reset. Use this on your wager, and you'll get refunded in bonus bets if your slip doesn't cash. Option 2, a 50% profit boost. Make your bet, activate the profit boost, and if it hits, you'll get extra winnings for the price of no extra cost. Whatever your style is, remember that you are in control. Make your choice, and the reward will be ready to use instantly on your next home run bet. FanDuel.com/local. Now choose your reward for every home run bet on Dinger Tuesday. Play ball with the home for home runs, and that's with FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Option required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration. Leg requirements and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Advent Health Championship is Casey's only PGA Tour event. Whether you're a golfer or you just want to be part of the fun, family-friendly event, see the future stars of the PGA Tour at Blue Hills Country Club, August 20th through 23rd. Ticket information at adventhealthchampionship.com.
At Odyssey, we believe in creating a diverse and inclusive workforce. We also value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be notified of all our open positions. That's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for all our listeners, please visit odysseyinc.com/careers for a list of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Peter's Clothiers. The last 3 days of our summer sale are here. Save from 30 to 50% on suits, sports coats, and sportswear at Peter's Clothiers. Find the look you want at the price you'll love. Visit Peter's Clothiers at 124th and State Line. Sale ends soon.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
We'll get to the random question of the day here in about 10 minutes or so as we continue broadcasting live in St. Joe. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. Drew Nixon producing the show back in our studios. Thanks again to Jaden Hicks, who joined us after practice today. You'll hear that conversation again coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Also, Royals general manager JJ Picollo. He joined us as he does every other Tuesday. Had a lot to talk to him about with the trade deadline, what they did, and also what they didn't do at the deadline. You'll hear that again around 1:35. But let's talk a little Royals baseball. I know we're up at training camp, and, of course, our camp coverage is presented by Yuengling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yuengling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. So they ended up making really two moves. I understand they traded for someone that was DFA'd, but two bigger moves. Lane Thomas to Atlanta, Chris Bubich to the Dodgers. And I'm very happy with what appears they got for said players. Like Lane Thomas getting signed in the offseason and flipping them, that's a good move by a general manager. Chris Bubich, who couldn't stay healthy, was about to be a free agent, getting something, maybe a bullpen piece, honestly, is a good move. It's more the conversation among fans, and including myself, I would say, is more what they didn't do. That, unfortunately, normally in a year in which you're horrendous, which they are, they're one of the worst teams in baseball, normally you can at least say, all right, well, just about everybody with an expiring contract, just about every vet that doesn't have a long-term future, you can usually flip, 5 or 6 players. They did not do that. A lot of that is because of performance. A lot of that is because some of those guys were hurt. But that's what stinks. Normally, at least you could have said, I'm going to get a bunch of prospects back in this dismal year at least, whatever. No, they didn't get that at all except for Lane Thomas and Chris Bubich.
They might have gotten 2 guys for their bullpen next year, which for a bullpen that JJ admitted, and you'll hear this at 1:30, is a teardown. Like it's to the studs, right? So we gotta take that thing all the way down and start from scratch on what we're putting in there. Lang, Lynch, maybe the 2 guys we just got, and hell, that's why I'd start pitching them pretty soon to find out whether or not that they're the guys. But, yeah, you're right. Normally you would say, who are these other guys on these one-year deals? Are they healthy? Could we move Reagans? Could we move, guys you would have hoped you could have moved because they're not under contract or under, like Reagans is, but, or Bubich could have been healthy all year and you could have at least moved him for something even more than you got. That part stinks. I wonder if I have not, I don't know, maybe I've overcomplicated the trade deadline. And what JJ had said earlier on the show, which was, if I'm going to trade Walker and Lugo, then why don't I just trade it all? Like, that was essentially the gist of what he said. Then why not just go for broke? And, in a lot of ways, I think there are a number of Chiefs fans who would say, fine.
Royals fans, yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
But if you do that, that means trading Bobby Witt Jr. So I I want to make that clear, I guess, in the sense that if you're going down to studs, then there's no point in, hanging on Bobby for 3 years while the team's trying to rebuild. And so I never wanted to go that far with it. I just think you could have made one difficult decision. Maybe that decision's coming in the offseason. Maybe the position play, maybe it's still there and I shouldn't lose it now. But I do think that for a GM who came in saying that they knew and Dayton understood he wasn't transactional enough, it was probably one of his flaws. JJ has been more transactional than Dayton, but still a half step not far enough, where if you roll in, let's say I like the nucleus. I like Garcia and Vinny and Cags and Carter. I really do. Michael Garcia. I like the nucleus. But maybe one of those guys need to be traded for another guy that's just different than a different guy because you can't just keep putting the same people together hoping that it all works.
I think in the offseason there should be at least conversations about what would something like the package deal I've talked about. And you're right, it has to be a difficult trade. Fans like a Garcia or Vinny Pasquantino packaged with a prospect. What does that get you back in an area of desperate need? That's the kind of stuff that they're going to have to explore, I think, in the offseason.
It's weird because, if you ask me right now, I like their position group better than any other part of their team going into next year by a pretty wide margin at the moment, because I do think that Garcia and Bobby and Vinny and all the time they miss from these guys, they're not going to miss that many games next year out of their core group. Cool. The starting pitching I feel the second best about, but I have very serious questions. We're just penciling in Noah Cameron now. He spent half of the season struggling.
Well, he's going to be your fifth starter again, probably.
And look, if he's based on, what's weird? If you put his season on aggregate gold, you actually probably have gotten fifth starter quality out of Noah Cameron, and we probably shouldn't complain at all. He is not the core of the issue. The core is that how are they replacing Cole Reagans? Fine, you have Waka. Fine, you have Lugo. Fine, you have Noah Cameron. I'll find another fourth starter. I'll find it out of Burgert or half of these Tommy John guys pitching 1 year, the other half, whatever. I'll figure it out. Who is replacing a top-end rotational starter? Unless you're calling up Kendry Churio at 19 years old. I don't know. You don't have that guy in the organization. And free agency, we know what that costs.
Yeah, and I hear play devil's advocate, though. I would say, again, you're still relying on Michael Waka at, 36 or 37, Seth Lugo at 36 or 37.
But that's just a part of their plan, so I'm accepting that, I guess. What I'm trying to accept is you had Cole Reagans last year, or this year. How are you planning on replacing the guy who I know is not available?
Yeah. Look, and getting prospects isn't a guarantee. I think we all recognize what those players are. Are they trying to do something that's not realistic? And we're going to find out with their offseason plan. Because right this second, I don't think it's going to be good enough. But maybe they surprise us and they spend some more money. Maybe they make a big-time trade or two, and all of a sudden we're sitting there, and if we have a baseball season next year, we're saying, okay, you know what? They kept those guys, and they made this move, and it makes sense. There's also a realistic scenario where they make one or two moves, and we're like, well, I don't think that's good enough, and you brought them back for no reason, and your team is now, you didn't lose 96 in 2027, but you ended up being a 74-win team, so you still got nothing.
That's always the issue. It's like I went back, because you'll hear from JJ coming up at 1:30. And I could do deeper research. This was quick on-air research. I was like, okay. He admitted, well, we all know, they had an awful April. Yep, that's accurate. Got it. But I do think their genuine belief is it would have turned around if it weren't for the devastating pile of injuries. And what I'm trying to figure out is I just genuinely think they were like a 75-win team even without him because the bullpen was so bad. I'm having a hard time imagining it. And we can't just erase every injury. Let's just say it was one starter who got hurt, not a million. I don't think we can just erase all of it because people will get hurt, and that's a part of it. The day Cole Reagans got hurt, they were 3 games under 500. So were they a laughingstock? By no means. But that's just how I think the season was going to go. I think they would have won 75, 76, 77, whatever. Below 500, not as bad as they are now, but that still means you have to change something. Next year's team can't just be this year's team and just, play better.
And that's exactly right.
That to me is still where the issue lies in what is your offseason plan for improvement, and is it just spend a big pile of money? Is it make a difficult trade? What is your, I know it's to fix the bullpen. I got it. But what is your offseason plan to, make sure that you don't run into this with the starting pitching if everyone's coming off of Tommy John in the same year? Literally everybody. The whole staff's coming off Tommy John. And look, I don't know. If they sign some oft-injured starter to possibly, it's like, well, and please tell me they're not going into next year thinking Dobnak's making starts for him. That scare me. And he's been good. I don't even, Randy, if you're listening, I'm sorry. This is not meant to be a knock on you. You came out of nowhere, my guy, but I don't feel like building a rotation around it's a safe bet at the moment.
You'll hear our conversation with JJ Picollo coming up about an hour or so from now. All right, let's get to the random question of the day.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. Of course, over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, where we live stream the show. Try to interact with the show over there. I know sometimes it's a little bit harder for me to interact. Sometimes we're up here, but we keep the text line open. We keep the chats open. We make sure that we stay in touch with you. That way we get you covered. So over there as well. The question I have for you today is, where are they headed? This is actually a Royals-related random question of the day. Royals have notified their season ticket holders that a game in their season ticket package will not be included next year, meaning they'll get 80 games on the season ticket package. So the question is, where are they going? So random question today, it's two-part. Where do you think they're headed? And like international football games, if the Royals playoff site, what is your interest level in traveling to catch a baseball game in a unique circumstance? So, like, we know that they've gone to London, Mexico, Japan, the Field of Dreams game. Where are the other ones? They haven't played any, like, the Dominican
they've done
Republic
Bristol and stuff like that.
Bristol, some
but
of
that's,
those. But that doesn't feel like where it is.
No, I think they're going to be. I think
the
they'll be in the Field of Dreams game next year up in Iowa. I believe that'll be where they end up. And yeah, I'd be very much interested. We've talked about this for years that baseball should be doing more of this. Now, next year's. Let's just assume they're playing next season, okay? But baseball has so much inventory. They should be doing specialty games more and more and more with different venues. But yeah, now the Field of Dreams, they've added new seats. It's still a pretty limited capacity, but it's not as limited as it was a couple years ago. But yeah, I would have interest. I absolutely have interest in going to there. I would have no interest in going to like Mexico to watch the Royals play. But like if they were going to Iowa, Field of Dreams, yeah.
I guess like from an NFL perspective, it's only once. The problem with, like, a game in London is, like, I'd get a series. And I don't – and, like, the trouble is, like, I wouldn't want to watch a whole – like, I wouldn't go to every game if I were in London. I'd want to do stuff in London. I'll catch one Royals game of the 3 London games, and I'm certainly interested in that. I always wonder if that would be the backup choice. I kind of lean with you. I think the Field of Dreams game is the most likely. But London, because of the whole Royal thing, I just think – that's
I think they've always had
silly.
Hasn't it just been bigger markets? I'd have to go back and look at the history. It's typically been New York, Boston. I'm trying to think who else has been there.
Traditionally, it has been some of the larger markets. But to be included in this is at least something anyway, because sometimes they roll in like the history of the Negro Leagues and stuff and all this other stuff into the Field of Dream games. And you're like...
Yeah, they've done the Rickwood Fields. That'd be another neat one.
Like that one to me, the Rickwood. How would you not have the Royals involved in that one yet? No offense, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum is in town. How have the Royals not been involved in the – so maybe that's another one that's on the table, the Rickwood game. How have they not been involved in that one? That feels like the layup of layups for the Royals to do.
But the way
I do
it was
think I would go to
Cody,
Field of Dreams. I do think I'd go to Rickwood. I do think I'd be interested in those games.
The way the email was phrased to season ticket holders that had, a home package or whatever is that it's a home game but not part of your, like, package or whatever. If it's one game, doesn't that mean it's narrowed down to either Field of Dreams or, like, a Rickwood?
Yes.
So it's one of the, right?
You're right.
It's got to be one of those two. My guess, I will use – process of elimination and say they'll be at the Field of Dreams next year.
So would you if you could? What's the get-in price you would pay to watch your squad up in a? I do love a unique game watch. That's a one-off. I'm only going to get.
I don't know. I don't know what they went for last time they played. I mean, you're asking me a price. I don't know. I mean, I'm still not paying more than $200 for a regular season baseball game.
Okay, that's fair. Drew, would you be interested in something like that? Have you guys ever thought about going for an NFL game? I haven't really.
I mean, if the Chiefs are in Madrid next year, I've thought about it. Next year,
okay.
I would like to do that.
What about you, Drew?
Yeah, I've never thought about going abroad to an NFL game, but it would be cool. I think the Field of Dreams thing would be awesome. I do think that's probably. I lean the way you guys are leaning. That's probably where they're going. I'm trying to see what tickets would be.
I will say there's an article from the Des Moines Register.
Okay.
Up because it's talking about, obviously they're talking about the Minnesota Twins and the Philadelphia Phillies, who will play in Dyersville this year on August 13th. Their article headline says, "Looking for MLB at Field of Dreams tickets? ? Expect to pay $1,300 plus." Woo!
That's Philadelphia, but
what's the capacity of the?
That's the issue.
That's part of why. That's why they're so expensive.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
The capacity.
I would not go for that, obviously.
No, $1,300. I think $200-300, like a Chiefs ticket price. I think for Royals regular season game, that seems to be
$1,300. I can go to a Final Four.
These sit pretty good for a Final Four, I would think.
According to this, seating capacity is up to 8,000 people, but
that's the issue.
4,200 permanent seats.
Supply and demand is a problem. That's why the price is crazy.
It's also why I can't just they're not going to let me just get credentialed to be media. They've only got a handful of spots for those two, and it's sure as hell not going to be dude from Kansas City who's not Vern. He might get one, but the rest of us aren't getting penciled in on that. Drew, have you ever considered going overseas for an NFL game?
No, just cost. But
you don't want to book it out too far in advance. If it's like a November game, all of a sudden you're watching Joe Flacco play instead of Joe Burrow.
I will say that is why
I am like you, Cody. Where for baseball it's different. I obviously for football it's just one game, but I would want to. If I did go internationally, I would want to go to a place that I could do that. I'd be interested in doing multiple things, just around the city, around the country, whatever the case may be.
Which I assume Alex would do too, right? If I went to Spain next year for the Chiefs game, I'm staying either the whole week leading up to it or the whole week after.
Absolutely.
Like I'm sticking around for a while. My problem is, and this is where I always get hung up on it, I'm much more inclined to do the Field of Dreams, where it's just like a day trip, or the Rickwood game, where it's a day trip, right? You get on a plane, you stay there for a couple of days, you come back. If I go overseas and they're like, you can go to the Chiefs game in Spain or a bullfight or a soccer match, I just go to that before I'd go to the Chiefs game.
Well, that's why you stay. That's why you stay after. You can do both.
Yeah, but I guess I just rather do other things than catch that Chiefs game. I don't know why. I'd rather do things associated with that country. I guess I'm never going to travel overseas to watch not overseas to watch the Chiefs or Royals. If I happen to be there, would I consider a ticket? Maybe.
I just think
but
you
it'd
can
be
do
lower on my
both.
list.
I get what you're saying. I just think you do both. I mean, you haven't been to Spain you haven't been to Spain yet, so you're not doing it on your own either way.
No. My wife's been to Spain twice.
Has she? She hadn't taken you?
She's been. She went when we were. One was when we were we were like in our early 19 or 20. She did the pilgrimage day. Compostela? I have to remember the name, but she did that. And then she went for like a high school trip when she first made it.
I think the Royals will be playing in Iowa next year if there's baseball.
But that's it. It's like, let's say I got 8 days in Spain. I don't want one of them eating up entire time at a football game.
I actually agree with you.
I'm fine for 5 hours. If I'm going to be there for a 10-day trip, I can spend one day at a Chiefs game in a unique setting. That's pretty damn cool.
I will say, Cody, we do know that if you take your family, your son is not going to want to go to a Chiefs game. He's going to want to go to a Barcelona game. Like, excuse me,
it's true.
We're going to a Barcelona game
Can do that as well. Can still do it.
FC's his squad.
It depends on the day, though. I mean,
I don't blame you for
wanting
wanting to go.
Sundays.
You seem like upset that we're judging you for
I'm not
going.
upset.
No, I was like,
I'm not upset.
You're like, you can go to both. You're like, okay.
I'm just saying you're making it seem like that if you go to the Chiefs game there, you can't do anything else.
I think 5 hours. I think that might be the most optimistic timeline of an NFL game anyone's ever attended.
Sure.
I think it is a 7-hour day, and I just don't want to give a whole day in a foreign country. I finally got
you don't.
over there.
This is not even meant to be a shot, but you don't go to many Chiefs games now either. In general, because of the same reason.
I've gone to a lot. Yeah, I've gone to a lot over the years, but you're right. I don't go to nearly as many in the last 2 years as I had at any other point. Yeah, and part of the reason is absolutely the amount of time it takes.
Yeah, and you have kids.
And cost,
you have
right?
kids, yeah.
You know, like if I was just going to take my kids as a fan, we said this: get in price. Me and my family afford a Chiefs game, $2,000. And if I'm dropping $2,000 on something, we're doing something else.
Yeah.
Like it just like in reality, it's like, and football's so good on television. That part of it is that. We talked about this, Drew, once. This is probably even before your producer. I said, I don't want to take my kids to Disney World. If I'm going to drop $10,000 on a vacation, our ass is going to Paris. We'll find some. I'm not dropping $10,000 to watch Goofy dance around. I'd rather spend it on something cool. You know?
For sure.
I don't want to drop $10,000 on Disneyland. I want to drop it on a vacation. So more fun.
Like to what you're saying, like, I don't know. Let's say, for example, so the Colts and Commanders play in London. I don't know what day it is. But they play in Tottenham Stadium. Tottenham might play that weekend, but they don't play there, obviously, because the NFL game's there. So they'll be in another place. So if you're going there, but you want to see a Tottenham game, you're going to go to the Tottenham game instead of the Colts game. Because
sure, but I don't think, Alex isn't arguing if it's like one or the other, you know?
Yeah.
Then you have a tougher decision. You're saying there's got to be a soccer match somewhere in the area you're at.
Right. Or if you want to go to A1, then you'll be able to find one. It's just a matter of, who you want to see, I suppose.
Someone says dinner's until 10 p.m. in Spain.
Right?
You'll be fine. Oh, they eat late.
I knew that was a thing
really?
in France.
It's that late?
Yeah, it's like 9 or 10 o'clock standard, like everybody eats dinner time.
Wow, okay.
For a number of European countries, but Spain in particular is late.
Dang.
That's why they got that little siesta in the afternoon. Get you a little nap, rest up. You got to stay up late.
After the Chiefs game, you go and get dinner, I guess.
That just sounds crazy. An evening game? Although, what time is the game played in Spain? Do we know? Because they're probably going to Spain next year. Don't you think?
I think
My
that's
guess would be
that's high on the list.
3-ish?
Well,
Chiefs are going over
let's just
season.
see. I mean, right now in Madrid, it is 7:50 p.m.
And they normally
So
play.
it's a 7-hour difference.
And they're usually playing 8:30 a.m. They're not playing a noon game in
Correct.
Spain, are they?
Correct.
8:30
So it's
our
mid-afternoon.
time. 8:30 our time. So
That's what he's saying.
probably-
7 hours ahead of
probably is the
Kansas
same
City.
time. I mean, it could be. I could see it being
So like
noon,
3
though.
o'clock. Says it's like 3 o'clock.
Afternoon game.
So your game would wrap at 6. You'd still. By the time you get out, you're still got 2 hours before dinner. You're gonna have a lot of time.
We'll see what happens for the Royals next year on the specialty game path. But it seems like Field of Dreams is a real possibility. That's the random question of the day here on 96.5 The Fan. A lot of people saying that somebody said it. I think they went to Mexico City, Sao Paulo, and Frankfurt already for Chiefs games. Good for you. That's fun.
Man, you got money.
They said they were all dope experiences to see the country's culture and view how other fans see our team, or see how other fans view our team.
More important, what do you do for a living? Because you're flush. I got to figure out.
Cody's trying to get some game on how to be able to afford those tickets.
I'm in the wrong line of work. This man's taken 3 international trips at least in the last 5 years.
If you did go to London, Cody, what do you want to see? Like, is there anything in mind? Like, if the Chiefs played in London, what do you want to see? Big Ben? Or
a huge part of what I like in travel is to get to go to museums, try new food, and then travel to sometimes like sporting events or like events based in there. So like, I don't know, local businesses, food, and then I would go to some of the touristy sites. What, am I just gonna skip out on the London Eye or whatever? Let's go take a spin around. Why not? I'm not an elitist. It's not like I'm not going to end up in some – I do like ending up at local places, but sometimes even like we were talking about that bar around the corner in Pittsburgh. Sometimes you can end up in a local place and travel and you're like, well, I don't belong here. This isn't for me. This isn't for me.
That was definitely a rough-looking bar.
Yeah, it was.
That we walked past every day in Pittsburgh for the draft.
Did you ever do the Inzer thing? Did you ever try that? I don't even remember.
You never did.
No. I was too afraid. I was going to get knifed or something.
That's crazy.
Gonna get knifed or
insane.
something?
How do you view Pittsburgh? Well,
I liked the city, actually. I had fun.
I wish we had more time downtown.
Same.
But the river right there, the Allegheny River, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a cool city. I had no complaints. Maybe we'll go to the draft next year. Be in D.C.?
Yeah, National Mall.
The old National Mall. No, not news at all, as far as I can tell.
No. I'll refrain from comments.
The draft is there next year, right?
It is Election Day, though. Go vote. Anyway,
you actually should vote.
Up next.
I mean that unbiased.
Absolutely.
Just vote.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget, it is Election Day in Kansas and in Missouri. All right, up next, guys. Let's get to how one site and executives that were polled had a different answer than another when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL. And you'll hear our conversation with Chief Safety Jaden Hicks right here on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You've pictured it. The garage door that finally makes your home look the way you want it to. And now get $500 back on a qualifying garage door with the Overhead Door Home Refresh rebate. Qualifying purchase must be made by September 30th. Let Overhead Door Company of Kansas City upgrade your curb appeal and get you up to $500 back. Schedule a free estimate at overheaddoorkc.com. Overheaddoorkc.com. Select models. Rebate paid as a Visa prepaid gift card. Restrictions apply. See website for full terms.
Red Eddie. Football season is just around the corner, and just like your favorite team, you've got to fuel up to perform. At Break Time, we've got your training camp essentials, ice-cold drinks, protein-packed snacks, and all your game day favorites. Whether you're hitting the field or cheering from the sidelines, teamwork starts with the right fuel. Let's go! One team, one goal! Swing by Break Time, your home team for snacks, drinks, and everything in between. Download our mobile app and find a location near you. We're proud to be Missouri made.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. Dane Hughes here, and for everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
there's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Hi, I'm Tom Shane, third-generation owner at Shane Company. As a family jeweler for almost 100 years, we're known for doing right by our customers. Our legacy of integrity depends on it. We stand behind our engagement rings with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds, then negotiate for the best price. At Shane Company, we put you first because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Did you hear my daughter Katie got Camper of the Week?
That's a big deal.
We got a big deal, too. Right, Mom?
Honey, shh.
What's that?
Okay, that Hyundai Santa Fe, I only paid...
Nice.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or 1.9% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson, Tucson Plug-in Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid. During the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offers end September 8th. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You've pictured it. The garage door that finally makes your home look the way you want it to. And now get $500 back on a qualifying garage door with the Overhead Door Home Refresh rebate. Qualifying purchase must be made by September 30th. Let Overhead Door Company of Kansas City upgrade your curb appeal and get you up to $500 back. Schedule a free estimate at overheaddoorkc.com. Overheaddoorkc.com. Select models. Rebate paid as a Visa prepaid gift card. Restrictions apply. See website for full terms.
Go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win Kansas City Chiefs scratch tickets, plus a chance for the grand prize Chiefs bundle, which includes a framed jersey and a signed photo. All thanks to our friends at the Kansas Lottery. Cody and Gold are live from the practice field at Chiefs training camp this summer on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
One o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We are live in St. Joe for Chiefs training camp. Practice ended about 2 hours ago or so. We had Jaden Hicks join us. You'll hear our conversation with him coming up in about 8 minutes. Also, we'll get back to some baseball trade deadline as JJ Picollo, the general manager, joined us coming up around 1:35. Don't forget, training camp coverage here in St. Joe is presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. You guys remember, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago, maybe it was ESPN had their quarterback list based on surveying executives in the league, right? And Mahomes was fourth, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
All right. So then fast forward to today, The Athletic did a similar thing. Their 2026 NFL quarterback tier results panel that they had voted on this was 21 executives, 29 coaches. Number 1 was Patrick Mahomes. Number 2 was Josh Allen. 3 Stafford, or 2B was Stafford. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And 4 was Joe Burrow. Allen and Stafford tied. The reason why I thought it was interesting is the ESPN one, I believe, was just executives, was it not? And Mahomes
and scouts and some others.
And Allen was 1 on that list, if I'm not mistaken, and Mahomes was 4. This one is 50 executives and coaches combined, so 21 execs, 29 coaches, and Mahomes is 1. I took this as of, like, coaches still believe Mahomes is the best. There might be some executives out there that don't.
And I guess part of that is, who would I trust more in the evaluation of who's good? The coach.
Right.
Who has to face him, who has to try to go up against him every single Sunday and try to make something of what's been going on in that situation. Like right now, I'll just tell you, even more than anything else, especially ranking quarterbacks, maybe not a coach's poll in like a college football sense. It's not like they're out here watching LSU every weekend. But in a quarterback play, as in the guys you have to go up against, and there's another thing that coaches respect more than executives do probably, which is winning. Coaches, they do think QB wins is a stat. You know why? Their whole job is determined on winning football games, and there's no one better on this planet at winning football games than Patrick Mahomes. I guess my curiosity is, where do they end up with Joe Burrow? 4th?
Yep, Burrow was 4 on this. Again, they had the panel break it into 5 tiers. Tier 1. So Tier 1 is Mahomes, Allen, Stafford, Burrow. That's the Tier 1. Allen and Stafford tied. Then there was Tier 2, which features a huge chunk of the league.
Yeah,
so
including Lamar.
Lamar, Herbert, Prescott, May, Goff, Love, Purdy, Williams, Daniels, Mayfield, Darnold, Lawrence, Hurts. And then there's Tier 3, which is your Bo Nix, Rodgers, Stroud. How about Stroud all the way in Tier 3? Daniel Jones, Bryce Young, Murray, Dart, Ward, Shuck, Tua, Kirk. And in your Tier 4 are guys like Malik Willis, Geno, Deshaun, Penix, Brissett.
I got to say, the idea that, and some of the tiers I would probably agree or disagree with, Joe Burrow's got a pretty good PR arm. Because for a guy who hasn't been able to stay healthy or available, look, I'm just saying from like an end of like, I think they were valuing, like, I just don't understand how Lamar and Joe Burrow aren't in the same class. I don't understand how one is Tier 1 and one is Tier 2.
I don't understand that either, but I think a lot of the evaluation that when you're looking at what these coaches are saying is, we're not looking at health or anything like that.
Who's the hardest to guard?
How good are they when they play? I think that is when we make these lists. I think that, for me, that's what I try to look at. But that also is, I think, what the coach angle is forget about their health or anything like that. When they play or when we face them, this is how I view those guys. I'm surprised that they put Lamar in the second tier. I think he should be in the first tier, to be honest with you. But I think that's what they're looking at more so of is it's. I understand his availability hasn't been there for Burrow or the injuries for Lamar Jackson, but when they play, this is how we view them, I think. Or when they're healthy, this is how we view them.
Yeah, clearly that's what they did. I do think, though, even if you take the health out of it, I just don't think – I would prefer Burrow over Lamar Jackson. Like, if I had to pick my quarterback for a game, absolutely. But I don't think it's this crater between the two.
I think they're in the same tier, for sure.
I think they're right next to each other. They both have some flaws. Joe Burrow's who I would prefer as my quarterback over Lamar. I have no issue with Stafford and Allen being tied for second. That makes a ton of sense.
Did you see this quote from Josh Allen today on quarterback stuff? He was on with Kevin Clark at training camp. Him and Joe Brady did a joint interview with Kevin Clark. He said, quote, he was asked about last season. He said, next question, jokingly. He then followed it up with, if you knock enough on the door, it's going to open at some point. What we have to keep doing is keep knocking and give ourselves chances to be in that position again. That, to me, one, no, that's not how it works. You can knock all you want. Doesn't mean the door's going to open. Bad news, Josh. But I also would say that has been part of the issue with where Joe Burrow lands on this list sometimes, and where some of these other guys have an issue is they don't give themselves another bite at the apple. That's always been, I think it might be the biggest knock on Josh Allen, though, is he's had his fair share of chances. Like, his team has been in the divisional round or the AFC title game like 1,000,000 times. And he has yet to find a single breakout season where they just whoops-a-daisy into a Super Bowl and find their way into a win. The man's in position every single year. They win the division. They're in the AFC title game. Like, they're in the AFC title. They're in the divisional round against Bo Nix, and he throws 70 picks in the game. So, like, for whatever reason, even though he's played good in some of those games, I don't want to even seem like that, but his team has had way more opportunities than any of the other guys on the list. He's been in position more than other than Mahomes. Mm-hmm. He's been in position more than Burrow, Lamar, Stafford, who's been to 2 Super Bowls in that time, and never cashed in a chip.
So it is absolutely a fair knock on Allen. The only thing I always refuse to do, I'm not going to knock Allen for being healthy and getting the AFC title game.
Oh, he's not worse than Burrow because Burrow didn't.
Burrow, of course, has been to a Super Bowl, right? We all know that. But I also don't give Burrow credit. In the years where Josh Allen lost in AFC title games, Burrow doesn't get more credit for not making the playoffs.
No. No, we've said this before. Like, people were, like, knocking it for, like, he played better in a losing season. No, you don't get more credit for not attending at all versus attending and losing. It's better to attend and lose than lose.
Yeah, but if we're evaluating who's the better quarterback, I think quarterback wins are significantly less far on the totem pole regarding how good of a quarterback are you compared to a legacy conversation. If we're talking legacy, then 100% quarterback wins matter and they mean something for everybody. But if we're talking how good are you when you're throwing the football, I'm not worried about you winning or losing the game. How good are you of a quarterback? If I'm evaluating how well you throw the football, then
availability has to be high on the list too, though, right?
Like, and that stat on Burrow was the most damning. Like a couple weeks ago, the one on like his record when his team trails in the final 8 minutes. He's like one for the century.
I think he also has the most. If you looked, I think it was Warren Sharp did the stat, and if you flip it, and in terms of game-winning drives or something like that, he's also one of the top guys in terms of game-winning drives, like comeback wins late beyond a certain point or something like that. But if you look at, again, I think some of the issue is you have to look beyond that, though. You can look at those numbers and be like, oh, yeah, he stinks. He's not able to win those games. But if you look at the way that he played, particularly in 2024 when he was fully healthy and he put up the best quarterback numbers in the league, you can't ask for any more out of that. Like, well, you didn't win the games. He did everything. He put up MVP numbers, led the league in completion percentage and yards and almost touchdowns. If not, he was the leader in touchdowns. You can't ask for any more. And they didn't win the game. I understand that. But if we're talking about strictly quarterback play, then to me, that changes things based on whether you win or you lose. I think that's out of the equation if you're talking about just quarterback talent. That's why if you look at talent, Brady's probably not even a top 5 talented quarterback in NFL history. But he won. That's where the legacy conversation comes into play.
He's the most successful one, yeah.
That's where the legacy comes into play. But if we're talking pure throwers of the football, Aaron Rodgers is better. Some people say Peyton Manning is better. Dan Marino might be better. Patrick Mahomes is better. You can go down the line of guys that might have, quote-unquote, looked better or played the position better than Tom Brady did. But the legacy, obviously, is a different conversation than just, evaluating you as a quarterback.
I can't wait to watch. I would say, one season, Drew, I would kind of agree. But the problem is he's missed in some cases, it's like, how often do you go to the playoffs? When Josh Allen's he puts himself in position a lot. That not QB wins aside. He regularly
QB
is
wins
in the
have
playoffs.
to still be some part of the equation.
Yeah,
maybe
of course.
It's not the top,
but it's I'm not saying I wouldn't ding somebody for one season like Joe Burrow. I don't ding him for 2 years ago when he finished with 4,300 yards and 43 touchdowns. My thing is that he's missed the playoffs half the time. And so even in the years in which there was, and not that, it's just that works towards Josh Allen, although the problem is for as many chances he had, how many are you going to get? You've had 7 or 8 straight years of a real opportunity to win the Super Bowl. You didn't even get to the game.
It does feel like his
That's
career
a problem.
is.
Yeah.
I think Peyton Manning's a bad comparison because obviously Peyton went to two.
Took him a while to cash in.
Yeah, Peyton went to 2 of them, but from the standpoint of Peyton always being in the playoffs and always, I think Josh Allen's career trajectory from the standpoint of always being in the discussion is a lot like Peyton Manning, where Peyton was always in the playoffs. Obviously, couldn't get over Brady, similar to how Josh Allen couldn't get past Patrick Mahomes. Peyton obviously made it there and got it done a couple of times. But I think the trajectory of Josh Allen, whether he makes it there or not, his availability in the postseason or his appearances in the postseason rather match that of what Peyton Manning did, where it feels like he's always in it. It's just that he never or took forever to get that one. Where, to your point, we don't know if Josh Allen's ever going to get it. He obviously hasn't so far, so why would we think that eventually it's going to happen if it hasn't yet?
I will say he's attended 3 Super Bowls, by the way. No, 2 Super Bowls. And so the one thing I would say, though, Drew, if your argument is the stats matter more than the wins.
Who's attended 2 Super Bowls? Sorry.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, yes.
If you were saying wins matter less than the stats around it because there's all you can do, well, then Josh Allen is an excellent postseason quarterback. Genuinely. Up until that game last year,
no denying that.
he's a star. He didn't. What games did he cost himself? He had like 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns every time he got knocked out for the better part of 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. There's no denying that. Obviously, he's an elite.
I think actually has been the public defense of him lately. That's interesting enough. That has been the public defense. I just thought it was an interesting quote since we were talking quarterbacks and the other side of it. But it's like, I don't know, man. Peyton was in 4 Super Bowls. He won 2 of them. Sorry,
he was in 4.
Dang, all right. He lost some too. He got through a couple times and he had to get past the hump. But he went. Like Josh Allen, that's the crazy thing.
True.
He isn't. How has he not gotten to one?
Because of Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes
until last year.
And his own self and his own problems.
I mean, last year was the year to get it done. Obviously, they had other issues. He had that ridiculous fumble in the playoff game last year. I mean, it's I do think now that Joe Brady, brand new head coach, Lamar with Jesse Minter, brand new head coach, I just feel, based on their playing style as well, that if they don't win a Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 years, to me, it's not happening. There's some high school kid out there right now playing football that's going to be a top recruit in a year or two, that's going to be a top draft pick in 3 or 4 years, and that will end up being the next crop. Like, you don't just get it, like, you don't
stay supreme.
I understand Tom Brady won rings in his 40s. It doesn't mean everybody's going to do that. Like, it doesn't mean Mahomes is going to do that. It doesn't mean Josh Allen's going to get his first ring at 38.
But if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be Mahomes. Like, no offense, he's already established that he's the dude on the list who gets to do those things, not the other guys. The other guys have got to win it now. Like, Josh Allen's not going to go on a Tom Brady run 40 to 45. If anyone's doing that 40 to 45, it's Patrick Mahomes. To me, that's already penciled in because he's already proven Yeah, the history's already written on that. One of these guys gets to and wins Super Bowls on the regular.
Is there?
And so,
did either of them? Because Drew Brees only has 1, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he made it to 1 and won 1.
So the biggest knock on Sean Payton is that he only got the 1 with Drew Brees.
Yeah, is that the I don't know when Drew Brees won it, but is that the Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen comp where Joe obviously has made one, didn't win it, but if they make it, they have to. I do think the conversation is whether. If they make it, especially, they have to win it. Otherwise, they might never get back there again. I know that conversation's already been there with Burrow, but especially now where Josh Allen is at 30-plus or whatever he is now. He might be younger than that. But
yeah, Brees won his at age 31, I think.
So I think that's a lot of the conversation for Lamar and Josh Allen in particular is, given the age they're at now and the way that they play, if they get there, they have to win it. Otherwise, the way that they play stylistically, they're going to be Cam Newton over the course of just a few more years where the body just isn't able to hold up to the way that they play.
Bills are cursed, man. They had those 4 straight Super Bowl runs with Jim Kelly, 0 wins. They got the second, third, whatever you want to rank him, best quarterback in the NFL. Got no Super Bowl appearances with the man. That franchise. Oh, it's cursed. I already told you how I feel about like franchises that just can't get over the hump. I think they're good for the sports. I think it's good if the Bills get all the way to the Super Bowl and lose. I think it's good for sports to have the lovable loser who can't get over the hump. You know? I felt bad after saying that, and then England lost in such devastating fashion. But, such is life.
Earlier today, we were joined by Chief Safety Jaden Hicks. Our player interviews here from St. Joe are exclusively on 96.5 The Fan after practice, and they're presented by the St. Joseph Convention and Visitors Bureau. Plan your trip now at stjomo.com. That's stjomo.com. We started our interview with Hicks joking around about him after practice throwing the football a bit and whether or not he played quarterback. And we were just watching. You were throwing the football around. Did you ever play quarterback? My co-host said, you know what, the throw looks pretty good.
Right. I could have done it all. But, I used to play a lot of catch back in my days. I got an older brother. We was always outside throwing the football around. So just kind of learned from him.
Yeah, what was I guess going back to your high school days, whatever, what position, what other sports did you play? What else were you doing?
Yeah, so freshman year I did basketball, and then I did track all throughout high school. And then also football as well. So, and in high school I played cornerback. So, yeah.
Who's the best basketball player on the team, in your opinion? I know you're going to cause a problem by answering this question.
Oh yeah.
Just so you know, because I know that they're competitive about it.
Oh yeah, and they all think that they're the LeBrons or something. They think they're the best. So I definitely give it up for either Chris or Pat Packenshoe. I seen his highlights.
Yeah, those are usually the two names that come up first. I saw yesterday as you were walking down the field, you guys always stop. They got like the social media question. Yeah. And a fan asked you, hey, what was the question today? And all I heard was Love Island, so I want to start there. Let's go there. One, I'm assuming you watched the show.
Yeah, me and my girl, she put me on the show. I only watched a couple episodes, though. It gets a little too much drama.
Okay.
I don't like all the drama.
What was the question, though? What was the exact question about a teammate?
Yeah, they were like, what teammate would be the best bombshell for Love Island? I didn't answer it.
You didn't answer?
Like, nah, I'm like, I don't know. But now think about it. I was joking on the sideline with Jeffrey Bossa. I was like, you know what? You would be a good bombshell. He's on social media, posting boxing. He don't box,
How did you spend part of your off season, by the way? Now that you're back in camp and all football's back, how'd you spend the time that you got away?
Yeah, I was back here. I was in Kansas City for most of it, just rehabbing my shoulder, and then I got to go home. I got to go see my sister's graduation. So shout out to her. She graduated college, and then I got to catch a few of my brother's football games. He plays arena football, so I got to go down there, and then as well as Easter, I flew down to Florida to go see my grandparents.
What's he play? What's he play in arena football position?
So he was a safety as well, turned into a linebacker. And now he's so big, they started putting him on D-line. So.
He's just moving closer to the line of scrimmage.
Exactly. Now he's got the hand in the dirt. But, no, they were down a few DNs, and they're like, Hicks, go out there. So he was playing DN when I watched him.
What'd you get for the graduation gift?
Oh, I got her a few things. I got her stuff for her apartment. I got her some money, help her out for future stuff. And then a few just little. I got her gift cards, Sephora gift cards. She loves, all that beauty makeup.
Just make sure that she's taken care of. Is this her first apartment?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we got Jaden Hicks joining us here on 96.5 The Fan. You mentioned Arena League, so now I'm just curious. What's a rule or something you can do in Arena League that you wish you could do in the NFL?
That's hard because they play in such a small surface, and then they also got the bowl. So I like how they flip people over the walls. I think that's a pretty cool part of it. Yeah.
We were watching some of your social media stuff, and maybe I'm misreading it. I think you take pride in your fashion. Is that a safe assumption?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you're the best dressed in the secondary, or who gives you a run for your money?
Oh, for sure in the secondary. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Who do you think it is on the team?
If there even is a close second, I'd have to. Delane's been dressing out. He's a first rounder. He's got some swag to him. So I'd say probably Mansour.
In that secondary, though, suddenly we were saying on the show earlier, like you're kind of one of the more experienced vet guys. All of a sudden in the secondary,
right.
You got a bunch of young guys there. What's your role? How do you see your role this year?
Yeah, definitely just being a loud communicator. Getting guys on the same page, and then making sure that we're playing at the same level that the Super Bowl team is playing at. So I'm just holding that standard, make sure every guy on the team is holding that standard.
How some of the young guys look? I know Delane obviously right now has still got the yellow non-contact jersey, but how do you view this group?
They're all looking really good. I'm excited for this group. We're all different. We're all here for one goal, and that's to win the championship. And I think everybody has that mindset. So it's a good group of guys.
What's the biggest thing from last year that you guys think could be an area of improvement? Like defensive line might say, hey, let's get some more sacks. Where do you guys think last year, what kind of mistake could be improved based on where you guys are?
Definitely being situationally aware. I think they pulled up a little stat line that we're 26th in third down conversion. So we definitely got to improve there on the third downs, get the ball back to the offense. So just locking in, knowing the D&D down the distance, and, just honing in on the details.
You've got up against Mahomes in practice for multiple years now. How does he look to you?
I can't believe he's out here, He's out here just throwing the ball, doing everything. So it's great to see, at least on our side, right? But, no, he looks good out there.
We know in practice you're not supposed to hit the quarterback anyway. Everyone just being extra careful to make sure not to make that mistake in an off season like this.
No, we had a couple guys come even like a smudge close, and everybody's like, hey, stay away. So it's funny. We want to keep him clean.
Yeah, no doubt. We got Jaden Hicks with us. So with every player we've got, do you ever rip open sports cards?
Oh, yeah.
You got some guys on the team that do that? All right, so we're trying to find – we got, I think, a numbered Joe Burrow the other day.
Try to find something good.
Our friends over at the Art of Sports in Leawood gave us some packs, so let's see what you got.
I got some friends back home in Vegas that open packs.
Okay.
So shout out Pit Boss Breaks.
Okay, there you go.
Shout
okay, so you know the break groups. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I'll just give you this stack, too. We'll see if you get anything good.
Cool.
You can have both.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, they split them like this. They do a little bit like
that.
Oh,
yeah.
So.
You got to see if there's any color in there and stuff.
No color.
There.
Gabe
right,
Davis,
I'll just put this
Jordan
one down.
Love,
You can try that pile, too. We'll see if we got anything.
See if we get anything good.
Cody, you
just
get
an
anything?
insert. No rookies.
No
I think
rookies.
we struck out on these packs.
Yeah.
All right.
Where'd y'all get these from, man?
At least we got the Joe Burrow numbered.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what's this one?
That's just an insert.
That's an insert, so it looks cool.
It looks cool, right?
At least on the secondary, I've been asking all these guys after we rip them because you start seeing some of these players. At wide receiver, who gives you the most trouble?
Wide receiver? Man, we played that guy, Terry McLaurin, last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great route runner. And then I would probably say, I think that was the only threat for real. Yeah.
I mean, he'll give you trouble just because he's a vet. He knows how to get open and can work those angles. On the quarterback end, are there guys that you're like you look forward to facing because you know the challenge you get, or are there guys in the league that you're like, okay, I gotta play my best so far?
No, definitely. There's guys even in our division. You got Justin Herbert and Bo Nix. I mean, we look forward to playing those, especially week 1. We got Bo Nix, so that'll be an exciting matchup.
That's Jaden Hicks earlier today with us here on 96.5 The Fan. Again, thanks to The Art of Sports for providing some football packs. Sounds like he at least has a little bit of knowledge of
he was spreading it out a little bit, like, hey, they open them like this and try to show you a little bit what you got.
And then you asked about the wide receivers. I don't know if he just forgot, but he was like, Terry McLaurin stood out, and he's like, I think that's about it. They did play Dallas last year with C.D. Lamb and George Pickens.
I think what I've learned is I've asked this now to 2 different players in 2 straight interviews. I don't think they like to admit that they think somebody gets better of them.
Oh, well, sure.
I think even in Jaden Hicks' case, he's like, no one's tough. I'm a badass.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the energy I've been getting after asking that question. So I'll have to alter it, move the needle a little bit to get in there. But, yeah, they did face Dallas and some other decent wide receivers, but they also had a good year defensively. So it's not crazy for Jaden Hicks to say, we don't fear anybody, because, again, they were the 5th best points per game defense in the league. I'm supposed to just assume that they can't handle that? But at least it's there. And he is watching a little Love Island. I don't know if he's paying attention to Camp Darling Island. He might have been on the list a couple of years ago. He would have been on the list had we started it 2 years ago.
I think his rookie season, he
would have been drafted.
No,
2 years ago.
He's a 3-year player now.
Last year he might have been on the list, though, I think, maybe to start off with. I don't know.
Well, he couldn't have been, though. He wasn't a rookie, right? So
even if he was a second year, I thought we put him in there just because
he might have. He might have gotten drafted. We let second-year players sometimes.
Well, Gelati shouldn't have been on the list this year, and he's a second-year player. That's why I was confused by it.
Maybe it's because Gelati was
I don't know.
Drafted higher.
I mean,
you didn't think he should be on the
we
list?
had Bob Tunyon last year, and Robert
yeah,
Tunyon was in like
he's a journeyman.
second.
He's a journeyman. Taekwon Thor is a journeyman.
Again, just as long as you're not like a day 1 starter, I think you can be somewhere on the list. Gelati is in a competition for the number 1 defensive end spot with R. Mason Thomas. I'd say R. Mason Thomas has
Why
the
did you
early
let JT
edge.
select him?
Well, we argued about it. We did. We argued about it.
Okay.
It was a debate. By the way, thinking of Camp Darling Island. So what we did today, we added Khalil Benson to the island.
Bombshell.
Has to be on the island. He's definitely the bombshell of Camp Darling Island. And we went ahead and Drew did not want to have Gelati on his team anymore anyway.
Here.
And so he's kicked off the island just because he has been hurt and hasn't really done anything, and he maybe shouldn't have been eligible to begin with. So we'll find out where we're at. Reminder, Camp Darling Island. We will eliminate someone later on this week again. Here's the updated name still on the island. So we have Cyrus Allen, Jeff Caldwell, Emmett Johnson, Jeffrey Bassa, Mason Thomas, Jaden Kennedy, Jalen Royals, and Khalil Benson.
So we're going to have to definitely eliminate some people.
Caldwell's in trouble. Caldwell's in trouble. Emmett Johnson
8 with 9 practices to go.
Emmett Johnson's tricky because I know in a preseason game I think he's going to look good, but right now it's hard. He hasn't really done much.
That's what I'm banking on. Him and Bassa.
I will say,
Jeff Caldwell, I haven't heard. I mean, is he here?
I know, but I don't
Is he even here?
I've seen him make 1 catch. I don't think he should be eliminated before a preseason game, but unfortunately,
I mean, I legitimately.
I don't think I'm going to get there.
I legit have. I don't know if he's here.
He's not getting one snaps. I'll tell you that.
Armstrong
he's
and other guys are getting.
Jalen Royals is obviously.
He's getting 1 snaps and still catching nothing.
Yeah, he's not doing much, but he's at least getting snaps with the ones. So.
I think the next elimination is going to either be Jalen Royals, Jeff Caldwell, or the guy you just got in Jeffrey Bassa, who is, I will say, he's ripped, Drew. Like, he looks strong as hell. The question is, can he be Leo Chenal, or is he going to lose a job to Cooper McDonald? Or, we don't know how that.
Hey, I will say,
first depth chart might hurt him.
If Cooper McDonald wins the job, all of a sudden that glove that he tossed you Gold,
My nephew has it. My nephew has it now. Yeah, we were at you and I, Drew and I were at that Lions Sunday Night Football game last year, and at the end of the game, this glove just comes flying up, and I caught it, and then I found out later who it was from, and then one of my nephews has the glove.
Still has it?
Yeah. Well, they better. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
they could take it to eBay. I don't know.
My 10-year-old nephew's listing memorabilia on eBay. Come on now.
I don't know. Maybe you seen
also,
this
with
kid
all due
with
respect to
shows?
McDonald, you're not listing that on eBay. Okay. Yeah. So
it's not authenticated, so it's going to be hard to prove. Does it have his name on it?
He might have had his number on it. I don't know.
I don't remember, man. I gave it to him, and I haven't seen it since. So.
Cooper McDonald game-used glove. It's listed by – wait, is that a gold? No, I'm kidding. If you search Cooper McDonald glove, just baseball gloves come up.
My nephew has it, and he'll have it, and it's a cool thing for him. He enjoyed it. He thought it was very cool. All right, our training camp coverage is presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. Up next, let's get a quick what's trending in, and then you'll hear our conversation with Royals general manager JJ Picollo. We asked him about the moves they did make, but more importantly, the moves they didn't, and how are they evaluating this staff, I should say this organization, and players moving forward.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Earlier today at camp, we ran into our guy Kling, who recently had roofing work needed. Guess who he got a new roof from? Century Roofing. He said they went to battle with the insurance company for him, making sure that he was taken care of the right way. Texted me individually to say, hey, man, they did good work. I just wanted to let you know. That's because Century Roofing has done over 36,000 roofs in the Kansas City area in over 30 years of business, and they've been voted best of Johnson County 5 years in a row, best roofing company in Kansas City thanks to readers at the Kansas City Star 2 years in a row. Best roofing company in Kansas City. They've done work on my roof multiple times. And what I love about that is they were honest. Do I need a roof replacement? No, you just need a couple of repairs. Should I work with the insurance company yet? No, the hail wasn't enough. But they have worked with companies when it is or it isn't, and they know because they have the expertise. Whether it be repairs or a full roof replacement, Century Roofing is the roofing contractor you want to trust here because they are locally owned and operated and will take care of it for you. That's CenturyRoofingKC.com, CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special both for you and your partner. At Heartland Men's Health, we take great pride in providing excellent care and treatment options for ED. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Before the season even kicks off, everyone's making predictions. Who wins the division? Who makes the playoffs? Who's lifting the trophy at season's end? On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions in a live market. For instance, Kansas City is only trading at 5% right now, meaning a $100 trade on Kalshi would net a $1,563 return. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Trade the Kalshi app and use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. K-A-L-S-H-I Kalshi. Trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize! Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
You don't have to carry everything on your own. Whether you're dealing with stress, anxiety, depression, substance use, or thoughts of suicide, talking to someone can help, and help is available 24/7 through the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can call or text 988 anytime to connect with a trained mental health professional. 988 is free, confidential, easy to remember, and available anytime, anywhere, to anyone. Call or text the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. No judgment, just help.
You work hard, you pay your bills, but with credit cards, higher gas and grocery prices, you're making the payments, but not getting ahead. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Golden Oak can help you refinance, consolidate bills, and free up monthly cash flow. Call today for a free mortgage checkup. There's never a charge to talk with us.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right. You pay what we pay on any in-stock tires from Telly's huge inventory. Our certified techs will even mount and balance them for only $30 per tire. All that plus a 30-day ride guarantee and lifetime tire protection. Gas and grocery prices may be going up, but there's never been a better time to buy tires. Reserve yours now at TELLEtire.com before our sale ends. Take care of your car. Take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. I scream. You scream. We all scream. Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only, not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Peter's Clothiers. The last 3 days of our summer sale are here. Save from 30 to 50% on suits, sports coats, and sportswear at Peter's Clothiers. Find the look you want at the price you'll love. Visit Peter's Clothiers at 124th and State Line. Sale ends soon.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on what's trending, a couple moves the Royals just made in the last 5 minutes or so, starting with who is back with the big league club. Bobby Wood Jr. has been reinstated from the injured list. Also, Jose Cuas was recalled from Omaha. And a move that I didn't know if the organization would make. We talked about on Monday after or last week after that abysmal ninth inning in which against the Twins, in which the Royals gave up that grand slam, and Matt Strom's comments after the game. The Royals have designated Matt Strom for assignment, also Andrew Velazquez. Ooh. So Matt Strom, the ownership has to sign off on that one because they're going to eat about, I think, over $1 million for Strom. I'm actually glad to see that happen. One, he was abysmal this year. Two, it seemed like his attitude toward the post-game access there at the end media after the game was not great. And he's just been flat-out terrible. So I'm glad that they're willing to eat the money and move on from him, frankly, and allow some other guys that they either traded for, or in this case, Jose Cuas, other guys to pitch. You don't need Matt Strom. He has no long-term future here anyway.
Nope. I'm also glad Bobby Wood Jr. is back.
For sure.
Missed him.
Sure.
Glad Bobby Wood Jr. is back with the Big League Club as a part of these two moves. Next up on What's Trending, we are here at Chiefs training camp. Injuries the same. No Gelati, no Omar Norman Lott, as they both remain injured. Mansour Delane still in the yellow non-contact jersey. Christian Fulton the only add to the list because Cyrus Allen and, of course, Xavier Worthy still sitting out for the time being. But no other news or notes from camp today. It was mostly safe. It was a day where a lot of vets were here. Damian Williams, Trent Green, Dwayne Bowe, Tyrann Mathieu, just to name a few. There might have been more, but at least those four were all up here at camp today.
Elsewhere in the NFL, a couple signings, or contracts, I should say. The Falcons and their running back, Bijan Robinson, have agreed to a 3-year extension worth up to $75 million with $51 million guaranteed. Also, Ravens wide receiver Zay Flowers gets a 4-year, $140 million deal, $108 million of which guaranteed. we were looking at the wide receiver room earlier with Nate Taylor. It's like it's Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, and then like Devontae Walker and a bunch of nobodies. But that's big-time money for Flowers, and it is a reminder that if Rashee Rice would have stayed out of trouble, that's the kind of money he would have been in line for.
Correct. It's insane. Insane what he gave away. Lastly, on What's Trending College Football preseason coaches poll is out. Only one of the three locals making the list. That's at number 25. The Missouri Tigers cleaning up the rest of the list. Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, and Notre Dame are the top 5. The highest-ranked Big 12 team was Texas Tech at 12. Obviously, I already listed some SEC teams, if you're curious where the highest one of them are ranked, but at least on that end. But top 2 teams, both out of the Big 10, who currently been running college football lately.
No doubt. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. As you said, yeah, a lot of vets here. Also, Charkandrick West was here, Spencer Ware. So just a day full of former Chiefs with some of them with some Super Bowl ties.
Yep.
A couple of them not, but some of them with some Super Bowl ties as well. All right, back to the Royals. Now, this conversation was obviously before they DFA'd Matt Strom. We would have asked JJ Picollo about that decision, so just full disclosure on that. But JJ Picollo joined us. We asked him about the trade deadline. Did they feel that they accomplished what they needed to?
Well, I think as it evolved, we were trying to really focus on our bullpen, thinking about not only this year but next year. And I think we were able to do that in a couple different ways. And there's always things that you're pursuing. And when you're more of a seller and you're in a buyer's market, those prices tend to go up on some of the guys we had interest in and just weren't in a position to execute them. There were some deals that were potentially interesting, but nothing that really evolved. But, the return on Lane Thomas, we were very happy with that. We were very happy with Carlos Duran, the return on Bubich. And then the DFA deal with Nolan Hoffman, that's a pitcher that, when you're trying to put a bullpen together, there's different ways to do it. You look for power, you look for different arm slots, and Nolan Hoffman's a little bit of a different arm slot, and that was appealing to us. So we were really accomplished some things, just didn't quite get everywhere we wanted to go, but, that's the way it goes every year.
How close would you say you were to making, let's call it a difficult decision? You don't have to put the names out there, whether it be a position player who's under long-term contract with you or a pitcher who has more than just this year's worth of control. Did anything ever get really close with any of those, I guess, more difficult decisions?
No, it didn't. To be very candid with it, it didn't. We were open-minded, more so on our pitchers than we were on our position players. I think the position players, who they are and the amount of control and the impact they can have on this team. But the pitching is typically the greater need at the deadline. So you listen to different teams and what they're trying to do. The thing we had to weigh is the value of a player with us versus the value of the return. And we start to see some of the returns on some of the pitchers that were traded. It was very much prospecty. It was A-ball, AA. There were a couple guys that may have had some major league time or upper-end prospects that are close to the big leagues. But, I've said this over and over again. I mean, I know this year hasn't gone the way we wanted it to go, but there's talent on this team, and, we're trying to, maintain talent while making our team better. So there were some difficult decisions in the sense of how do we want to go about this, but we were pretty clear with teams right away. Hey, we'll talk about anybody, but you're going to have to motivate us to move a guy. And there were some discussions, but nothing that got too far along.
Along those same lines then, and obviously what people for weeks, if not months, have been talking about Michael Waka and Seth Lugo. Is the feeling from you, it sounds like it is, other than just you needed to be blown away by an offer, that looking at 2027 in order to compete, that you guys need those two players in the rotation?
Well, it's no secret. I mean, we've got 4 guys that had Tommy John here recently, and they were part of what we were excited about. So, those 4 are not going to be available to us at the beginning of next year and even well into next year. That has to play a factor. If we wanted to go on a rebuild and, if we were going to trade somebody like Walker or Lugo and get the return that we really wanted, well, you might as well keep going, and now you're pushing out, a window to win for many years down the road. And I just don't think that's fair to our fans. I don't think that's fair to this team. We've had a difficult year, but you got to temper the emotion of that. And, when we look at our team and we look at trying to put a rotation together or a lineup together, we have parts, but we still have to push forward. We got to figure out our rotation. Even with Waka and Lugo and Cameron here, we have to figure out other things. We're still waiting to hear back on what's going on with Melinda Avila. It's a little concerning right now, but we know we've lost the other guys. So that's a difficult thing to swallow, and we would have definitely taken a big step back if we had traded either one of the two that you're talking about. So that's just part of it. You got to think about short-term and long-term, and getting prospects back that were far away from major leagues just wasn't something that really interested us at this point.
What would you say, I guess, is I don't know if it's the sales pitch, but you're saying, hey, we're on pace for 95 losses. How do you guys view getting back to winning next year? Or how do you convince yourself or fans or that this team is capable of winning, and what went wrong, or what can you do in order to go from 90 to 95 losses to a playoff team next year?
Well, the big thing is stay healthy. I mean, 2024 was what it was because we stayed healthy. We missed Vinny that last month of the season. That was really the only major injury we've had. We've missed Vinny for a lot of this season. We've missed Garcia for a good portion of this season. We've had Bobby out at some point, at different points during the season. And then obviously the pitching. So, and even our bullpen, it started with Carlos Estevez getting hurt opening weekend. It's staying healthy. That's what it's always going to be. If you stay healthy, you have a chance to compete, but you also got to look at the talent on the team. And when we look at our talent, our lineup, we're fairly set, but we count on Vinny to hit his 25 to 30 and 100 RBIs. Michael, we saw what he could do last year. Bobby, we know what he can do. Now we got Carter. Now we have Kay, and Salvi's still going. That's a pretty good nucleus. But the pitching is the one that we really got to focus on if we're going to compete in 27.
Is that what you think happened in the beginning part of the year? Because, the injuries, no doubt, have had a massive impact. Certainly as the season's gone on, even worse. But at the beginning of the year, you were missing Estevez, if I remember, but we're somewhat healthy besides that. And I guess some of the record obviously still didn't indicate. Looking back, what do you think happened that first month?
Well, we played poorly in April. There's no question. That's when we had everybody, and we played poorly. But that's 1/6 of the season.
Sure.
It's so many games left. But then on May 7th, when Bubic went down, and May 15th, Cole went down. Actually, on April 7th, Bergert went down. So right from the get-go, even though Bergert was in AAA, that was he's a major league pitcher, and he should have been on our team. We made the choice to put him back in AAA only because you want to keep the starter depth. But it really started early, and that's I don't want to sit here and make excuses, but that's where it started. It started pretty early for us when we had well over 100 games left. We had 130 games left when the injury started. So it's been a long haul, and we've got to be optimistic about the talent we have and just try to build around it.
I think we've talked to you about the injury, just some of it bad luck? Is there something more there? I know you guys reevaluate in the offseason everything with this organization, but I think fans are looking at all the injuries. They're saying, hey, what's going on with that? Does it cause you guys just to look at, hey, is there something we're doing? Even there's some guys that were hurt and they would come back and get hurt very quickly right after. Have you guys got the same questions, I guess, that fans do about why this is happening?
Yeah. No, we do ask those questions. There's no question about it. And, the thing that's, and we'll keep diving into it. We got to figure out, is there something going on? We went through this many years ago. It was more so in the minor leagues where, we had a pretty good track record of not having Tommy John surgeries, and all of a sudden we had 14 in 1 year. And you see this with teams. It's like it comes in bunches. If you go through a year where you have one or two, that's a pretty good year. You just hope it's, you don't want it to happen to anybody, but when they're key guys on your team, it's obviously more impactful. So, yeah, we've got to look at it. But the one thing I can tell you is everything we were doing this year is exactly what we did in 24. And, we didn't have any problems in 24. And that's what makes that trying to find that solution very difficult, because you have years where it works out great and you have years where it doesn't. But it doesn't mean we don't ask the questions. We have to have those discussions.
Before I ask you what some of the plans are with some of the names you acquired, the Chris Bubic trade you had mentioned as being one you were happy with the return on. Do you look back at that crop of 2018 pitchers, JJ? Is that still like maybe a big what if? for the Royals, knowing that you guys took maybe 5 or 6 guys in the top 68 and for a while, or top 50 picks, I think is maybe what it was. Do you look back there and try to figure out how you guys should have gotten more value out of that? I guess just from like a future perspective or those things.
Well, I think if you go back and carefully look at what happened in that draft, it was actually one of the more successful drafts in all of baseball. So, and that's just going by WAR. If you just want to use a simple number, going by WAR. So, do you want them all to be all-stars? Sure, we do. Of course we do. But realistically, are they all going to be all-stars? Brady Singer's had a nice career. Chris Bubich has had a nice career. There were John Boland's doing a great job over in Philadelphia right now. You got Daniel Lynch here. You go through the whole list. It had its successes, and those guys are still playing. There's a lot of drafts where guys are, either playing in the minor leagues or not playing at all. So, we were happy with that draft. I think, the excitement of it was we thought we would have, I think publicly you're hoping that you'd have 5 starters and, they're all elite guys. But the reality is you just want very good pitchers in the major leagues. And these guys have had successes. And Chris Bubich, he played a key role in the bullpen for us in 24, and he was all-star in 25. And then after that, the injuries start. So, that draft, it is what it is. I know that there's been a lot made of that, but in the end, if you really took the time to go back and look at that draft compared to the other 29 clubs, I think you'll find that it was a pretty favorable draft.
Is Bubich or Lane Thomas guys you'd talk to about coming back?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have those discussions right now, but we like their talent, so there's no doubt that when we go and get into the free agency season, they're going to be guys that we talk about. We know them very well. We know what their makeup's like. We know what their impact is in the clubhouse. So, yeah, they're guys that would be on the list, but we haven't quite got to that part just yet.
Fair enough.
We're talking to JJ Picollo, Royals General Manager, President of Baseball Ops here on 96.5 The Fan. You mentioned the return earlier for some of the trades that you guys did make. Duran and Hoffman, it feels like if anybody could potentially be in Kansas City this week, it'd be those guys. What's the plan for both of them perhaps to help you guys out already?
Yeah, so both guys are on their way to Omaha right now, and we're just going to let them get their feet wet in this organization and then really just kind of play it by ear. There's no definitive date. We'll get them up by this date or that date. They're on option. They're available to us to call up. So as the dust settles and we think about some things and how we have to get through, I mean, right now, with Luinder Avila being on the IL, we're thinking about Friday, which would be his start day. So there's other factors that impact, even the relievers to figure out how we're going to go about it. But at least right now, we just want them to go to Omaha, get their feet wet, get acclimated to the organization. We learn a little bit more about them. We know what their talent's like, but then also just seeing it and watching those guys throw in AAA is the first step.
What do you guys look as being the biggest evaluation point for you guys the rest of the way? What do you want to see out of certain groups or certain situations? Are you trying to find late inning relievers? How do you, view the rest of the year?
Yeah, well, again, the bullpen is the big one. We're going to have to revamp our bullpen next year. And, guys are going to get opportunities now. We're going to figure out if they're part of our plan moving forward or not. And that's a good thing. You don't want to have the injuries and be in the situation we're in, but very similar to what Nick Lofton and Michael Massey have done. They've taken advantage of an injury. They've gotten more playing time, and they've shown us that they're a part of our future, and that's great. So I would say the bullpen is probably the biggest thing. You'll probably see more movement, guys coming up and down, and trying to figure out who do we have and how do we put a bullpen together for next season, and then keep making sure we try to do our best to keep our starters. You want to keep them well rested somehow. You don't want to push them to the limits to the point that you could have a problem with them as well. So, but we know between Waka, Lugo, Cameron, we feel good about them. Dobnak's been very, very good for us. So that part is somewhat settled. And then it's the bullpen is the biggest thing. And then the other thing is, getting Vinny and Garcia and Bobby back. That's we've been playing without them for quite some time now, and it'd just be nice to see them back on the field.
So that was JJ Picollo, Royals general manager, with us earlier today. That was before the news that they had recalled Bobby Witt, that they removed, not recalled, but I guess recalled from the IL. And obviously designated Matt Strahm for assignment. Look, a couple things out of that. I think very clearly, I think we all understand, they have to revamp the entire bullpen. They're hoping a few of these pieces they traded for they can get some looks at and find out if they're actually part of the bullpen next year. Makes sense to me. The part that always bugs me a little bit is going to be all the injury discussion about how that was, a huge part of this year. It's why they might lose 96 games. It's not why we would be sitting here and saying, hey, they're not a playoff team.
No, it'd be some of their stars underperforming in the bullpen being ass.
Right. So next year, okay, going to have a brand new bullpen. Your rotation is going to still have Michael Walker, Lugo, and I think Noah Cameron in it.
Yeah.
Maybe
although that was concerning the way you said about that.
Yeah, they're still waiting to get an answer on that. I didn't like that either. And you know what, 5 or 6 of your guys in your lineup are the same. So those is that enough of it? Is there can you make the corrections, and is that enough? You're banking that if you don't make a big offseason trade, you're banking that Garcia bounces back, that Vinny stays healthy and bounces back. And with all due respect, some of those players, I don't know if I trust the history that's going to happen.
I trust that Vinny would bounce back, and I trust that Michael Garcia would stay healthier. I don't know about Salvi. I don't know how you'd be banking on that.
I don't know if we can bank on Vinny being healthy anymore, Cody. I hate to say it, man, but
he
cannot stay healthy. It feels like almost every year.
He had 2 straight years of health, in my opinion, and then obviously now hurt again. So, he's back on the watch list of can he get through 162 games. I think that's more than fair, and I don't think he would say any different. He never has said any different. Not on this show.
He's joked with us about it.
He's made zero excuses about that fact. But clearly their plan is they like. You know what's funny is I don't disagree with them. They like their core of position players. So do I. Don't disagree. Great. They like their starters. I got bigger questions on that. I got questions about Walker and Lugo doing it again.
Right.
Noah Camera doing it again. And 4 and 5, it's everybody coming off of Tommy John. So, what's the rest of that plan? It better not be Dobnak or what, So, I got questions on part of the rotation, and I've got questions on the entire bullpen's a scrap. Now, I will say,